Hello, everybody, and we are back with Smite Prime. This is Morty on the mic, joined here by Testai, the prod god. We've got General Jithens behind the scene, Red Rosie as well, and right next to me here in the booth is none other than Spooky Mars. How are you feeling, Spooky?
Oh, Mort, you know I'm always feeling good to be here on Smite Prime next to some incredible talent, both on the production, as you mentioned, and in the rosters themselves. We have so many stacked up teams here ready to go against each other. This is my favorite way to spend a Saturday, getting to enjoy some high-octane, high-level Smite action.
Well, we've got the best players here. Let's see what's on the line for these players. Let's see what they're fighting for as we take a look at the prize pool. Big stuff on the line here. $7,000 in cash prizing, a little bit higher up from the last circuit, and diamond prizing up as well, up to 125,000 diamonds. What skin are you getting with that, Spooky Mars?
Magical Mischief Merlin, obviously. There's a new Merlin skin out, Mort. What do you think I'm buying, if not the Merlin skin? If there was a Tiamat skin, there would be that. But it's Merlin for now. Actually, I'm not buying anything because I don't play in these. I'm not good enough.
Well, you don't get that skin with diamonds. You get it with Wandering Market coins, so we can tell who clearly plays this game.
Well, you know, you got to buy some diamonds to get the market.
That's true. Okay, you got me there. I'm so used to just getting the codes, and I forget that we had to do that. That's a good point. You got me there. So yeah,
who plays the game.
Oh, that's crazy how the tables have turned. So we know what's on the line, but let's see who's playing for this grand cash prize.
Lots of big names here, Mort. Lots of teams we've seen in the past. Lots of new names coming up here as well. You can see Cherry Slush back in the action down there, but keep your eyes up here on the highlighted one. Bible Study and Titans. That's going to be our first match we're watching. We've got some big names on that one that we were looking at. I mean, Sunprod is on the side of Bible Study there, so I mean, he's been around the scene quite a few times. You got Globe in there, Kaveka. These players have been around the scene. They've been in the SCC. They've been in SOC. You've seen them before. And here in Smite 2, they're really trying to take things up a level. I'm excited to see what we got.
Well, I like that we're at this stage. Week 1 means that everything that has already happened is maybe not been forgotten about, but it's all in the history books. This is fresh. This is new, and everybody has a fair fighting chance of getting to that grand cash prizing at the end of the circuit. So everybody's got a plain old chance at fighting and giving it their best shot. So I've got a lot of hope for a couple teams here. Evolutions is a couple names that I'm definitely familiar with, especially Snooze, who is one heck of a solo laner, and Bible Study as well, just like you said, Sunprod, who put up a great performance in the finals last week. Last week. Did great stuff there, and I have high hopes for Bible Study getting further this time around.
I mean, Sunprod always puts on a good show. Only time will tell how far they get, but no one comes into these to lose, right? Everyone's gunning for that top spot. I'm excited to see how much they've got to put towards it, how much gas is left in those tanks.
Let's take a look as we get into picks and bans for Bible Study versus Titans.
One of our favorite parts of the game, where it all starts right here. Is where you start to see what the teams want to do, how they want to play, and how much respect they put towards their opponents. Now, most of the time, you're going to see just the standard meta bans coming out here. You've only got 2 of them. So looking for respect bans is a little bit tough. And as you see this bracket go on, you might see a little bit more of those coming out. Here at the start, though, probably some standard stuff we're getting ready to see. There's the Aladdin. Who knew it? Shocker.
You know what I like about Sunprod being on the team is that Sunprod's comfort picks aren't always the most meta picks. I feel like Sunprod's very comfortable with Susano, with Loki, gods, even Thanatos. I mean, Sunprod's got one hell of a Thanatos. Gods that really aren't super meta right now, so you can either ban away the strong gods and keep Sunprod in his comfort, or you can force away his strong picks, leaving open the meta picks for everybody across the board, and he's forced a little bit out of his comfort zone, but he's got a strong pick with him. I mean, the Aladdin could be, well, it's banned away now, but just an example of a couple other junglers that are strong right now. Hunbats, Kali, both amazing picks that we don't see all the time from Sunprod, but regardless, very nice picks.
I do think there's a lot more value, at least at this stage of the game, in banning out those meta picks. I love the Fenrir ban. He brings so much value early on in Sunprod. You know, maybe it would have looked good on it, but if you don't want to play against it, this allows you to do your own thing. You mentioned he likes the Thanatos. Well, Fenrir can kind of come in early game. He has enough damage to kind of make things difficult for that Thanatos. If you miss the Death Scythe, you lose out a lot of damage. Sure, you can go for the Silence when he goes for the Brutalize, but just even Stevens, Fenrir has a little bit more going for him, so take it off the board and just keep yourself nice and happy. Moonbots away means Kali is still on the board. Junglers are available for Bible study. I don't know if we go for a first lock in the jungle, but Sunprod has a few options.
Well, going first lock in the jungle here leaves a lot of option for
There we go.
counterplay. As Kali gets locked in, and I'm kind of wondering, maybe Kveka takes the Kali into the carry role with the aspect, or maybe Sunprod picks this up. Not so sure. What's really on my mind is if you watch any of the Founder series, you know that Globe loves the chalk mid, and it wasn't just a comfort pick, it was a strong pick. I mean, those player damage numbers were high up game after game, and I'm wondering if Globe is going to resort back to this comfort pick, or maybe he's got something new up his sleeve this time around.
Honestly, if they do go for the chalk, it does pair nicely with the Kali, especially if it's going into Sunprod's hands. If you can get that big AoE slow that's also doing damage, that makes things a lot easier for this Kali to stick onto targets. That does assume it's not going into Kveka's hands as an ADC, though, which I think is a fair assumption. I think we've seen a few more times this Kali going into the jungle because it does scale very well. A little bit less gankable, a little bit more survivable since she has access to the destruction when not using the aspect. Agni getting locked in actually does not answer our question on if this is ADC or jungle Kali, because Agni can go both roles into mid or ADC as well. So lots of flexibility here.
A lot of people assume that the Agni aspect being so strong means that he's always being played in carry. However, we did see during AGL relegations that Weekend picked up the Agni aspect in the middle lane. There's a little bit of flexibility going around, and even the top dogs know it. So it could be Globe resorting to the Agni. Globe is known for these funky picks that resort a lot better than people think. Or it could be Kveka picking up the Agni into the carry role. Kali goes in the jungle. Lots of love about that regardless. But John Rowing, I'm assuming, taking that Mordred into solo. Very strong pick right now. And in return, Thor and Ymir. That's one hell of a front line.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about the Titans draft too much here just yet. So let's go ahead and swap over to that. Merlin and Ymir getting picked up here. Got some good AoE damage from the Merlin. Got some good lockdown from the Ymir. Notably, not a ton of ways for Bible study to get through that Ymir wall just yet. Kali can jump it, yes, but stops the Agni dash, stops Mordred unless he wants to go into his ultimate to try to run away, which, not a bad option, but that means you can't use it to get in. And with these next two picks, there's two more that have a little bit of difficulty without their ults getting through that Ymir wall. And it's not just the Ymir wall you've got. You've also got this Thor wall on top of it. You've got a lot of obstacles you can throw out in front of people. Stop the advance, stop the retreat, and allows you to control how the fight is approached in a lot more ways. And especially when you take into account that Thor can come in from anywhere. Titans have a really good draft for controlling the fights and where they start right now. And I'm really interested to see how they approach these fights, because I think Bible study has to be very careful with it.
I really love this team comp that we've been seeing. It's very common week after week. It's multiple AoE ults that either pull resources or completely wipe teams. So Mordred with Pursue the Weak, Cerberus, Stygian Torment, Akate has opened the gates. These are all big circle, big CC, big damage ultimates that will either pull away beads, maybe a Talisman of Purification, maybe force out a CC immune ultimate from the Thor or the Jingwei or the Ymir, or it's going to end up wiping the team through and through. So I really like how they're playing this. If they can communicate well and keep these timers in check, then Bible Study have a phenomenal team. But look at the pick potential from the Titans. Jingwei has a decent amount of damage in the early game. Merlin has a lot of shred as well. Thor has big burst. Ymir has good lockdown. And followed by potentially this Athena. That's a great team as well.
Man, this is my favorite thing about the aspects in Smite right now, because you could look at both these teams and you're thinking, okay, where's everyone going? Because there's a world where we have Kali ADC, Mordred jungle, Cerberus solo, Hakate support, Agni mid over there. Like, that all can work. Titans have a lot of flexibility as well. With this Athena, if they do lock it in, that could be support, it could be jungle, it could be solo. I think with the draft they have right now, I would prefer seeing it in the jungle role, just because it gives them so many ways to kind of get active. Put Ymir in support, put Thor over in the solo lane. Now you've got one true global, one semi-global, And with the portals on those side lanes, being off and that left side of the map isn't as restrictive as it used to be. You don't have to try that hard to get access to the other side to then make use of your Thor ultimate. There is a lot of potential for picks, for team fights, just about anything that they might want.
Well, there's only one way to find out who is where, and that's by going into game. And here we are, Bible Study versus Titans. Bit of an invade happening from Titans already. 5-stack over in the solo side. In Bible Study's jungle, they're seeming to back off of this.
It's going to be P for blue, Athena in the solo lane. Dark taking Thor into the jungle. Still pretty decent. I don't hate this at all. It makes the rotations a little bit easier as well. Instead of having to take a portal over, you can just walk over with Thor, and then Athena can say, okay, I'm going to come on in. Notably, P for blue does not take the aspect. So he's not going to be targeting enemies. They're not going to be taking extra damage on this. Is going to be going for the more support style, targeting his allies, giving them the shield, trying to help them survive in the fights. What you can do with this is you can target Dark as he goes up into the air, so that when he comes crashing down, you come crashing down, and all of a sudden the enemy has no idea what's happening, and sets up a very nice team fight. So level 5 is a big power spike for the Titans. Bible Study needs to be very careful about that.
That's a very good point you make, but even pre-5 is important as well, and I think we might see a lot of pre-5 aggression with the Ymir, who's known for having heavy-hitting basics with the Frostbite passive. If he's able to apply Frost Breath or Glacial Strike and get that Frostbite passive going, he can just start hammering out a couple basics and really start melting health bars over here in Duo. But I'm kind of wondering where our First Blood potential lies right now.
I think there is a lot of First Blood potential in this Duo lane, specifically because you mentioned Bandolero on this Ymir has so much damage early on. You can see he's fishing for it. Freeze comes through.
Decent damage so far. Serb definitely suffering 200 health under the tier 1 tower. Still safe though, regardless. And they're going to be able to take that aggression over and get that neutral camp. Very good stuff. Way to utilize that pressure.
A little invade on the mid side as well. Kveka under tower. Maybe
Diving in
Dark
deep here.
aggressing onto Prod here as he's trying to find an invade. 1v2 might be a little dicey.
Sunprod low on health. He's going to end up suffering, fall into the grave. First blood goes to Titans. Dark takes it.
Yeah, that seems like a bit of a miscommunication between Globe and Sunprod there. Sunprod wanted to keep going for that invade. Globe wanted to back out. And how that ends up is he goes too far forward, leaves himself isolated. No way to get help from that one. Easy pickup for the Titans. And that's something you gotta be careful with Titans as well, because they have a lot of early game damage, a lot of ways to fight into you and find those early kills. It's in pretty much every lane except for the solo lane. Dark is going to be doing a little bit more damage than Sunprod early, having the reliable abilities rather than restricting yourself to the basic attack damage just gives him a little bit of an edge early on. A little bit more CC, a little bit easier to poke people out. Titans definitely are the aggressors in this early game, and you can see it from the way that these lanes are getting pushed up. Titans keeping that pressure on this left side. Means Dark can really kind of do whatever he wants, doesn't have to worry about any of his lanes, can focus on farming, and maybe even looking for some invades onto Sunprod to try to keep his colleague down.
It's interesting that you bring up that Thor is a little more focused on the burst damage over the basic attack damage, because look at what Dark picked up, the aspect of Thunderstruck, meaning that he loses a little bit of burst damage from his one, but his basics hit a whole lot harder, and he can heal himself from just hammering out those basics. So we're going to see a little bit more focus on the basic attacks from the Thor this time around. I wonder if he's trying to challenge Kali, or maybe what the deal is. Is he trying to live a little bit longer in these team fights? What is the benefit from the aspect of Thunderstruck here?
Honestly, it's just the ability to be a little bit tankier as you're going into things. He's still going to be able to outtrade Kali early on, specifically because of those extra prots he gets and the fact that he's healing off of them, while not losing too much damage from the rest of his kit. Well, he will get a little bit of damage here coming out from John Rowing, force himself over the wall there. So Infernals will go to Sunprod. But when he starts to look for the engagements, when he's got the Anvil of Dawn, which he is ticked over to 5, when he dunks down, it's going to be a little bit harder to kill him, give you a little bit more time to get some help, especially from P4 Blue Lay. And that just is the team fight. There it is.
Doors in the air, lands the sun. John Rowing low on health, had to use the Phantom Shell, but before he could kid out, ends up falling to the grave. Athena picks up another kill, the second one of the game for the Titans.
And that's exactly what you're looking for from your Thor here. Very good early aggression, forces out the Relic, and now lane's a little bit harder for John Rowing. not too much harder. It's an Athena who's got a blue stone and no aspect, so the damage isn't going to be crazy coming out from this Athena, but it is one less tool you have from John Rowing. That means that now Bible Study can maybe have to pull their way back a little bit because there could be some focus going that way.
Gold Fury is coming up soon. I would like to think that maybe there's some priority having. I mean, a lot of these teams know that Gold Fury is great. It's pretty weak earlier on. If you can get 1 or 2 kills away from the enemy team, then going over there shouldn't be an issue. Diving deep here, looking for a fight. Stygian Torment pulls away Ymir, using the Shards of Ice to try and get some damage off before he falls to the grave, but all he does is just postpone his fall. Another kill, this time going to Bible Study.
That's an important one for Bible Study pick up, too, because that's their first kill of the game. Expended a couple ults there, mainly just tempos. Pushes Bandolero into a bad spot. Knows he's not getting out of that one, so he doesn't even try. Just says, you know what? My wall is down. I'm in the middle of 3 people. Let's just see if we can get some damage. Make sure there's no early Gold Fury pull. Because if you let them go too healthy, maybe they try looking for that. You mentioned it. It's not super valuable at the start of the game because if you can get a couple kills, even really just trade 1 kill out for the Gold Fury, not really worth it for the team that takes it just because you leave so much gold and XP on the map. But if you're able to push them, if you're able to get it for free, that's a different story. So I like Bandolero's decision there. Make sure you put some damage out before you go down. Keeps things a little safer for Bibles or for the Titans.
Just letting us know where we're at. We're about 6 minutes in, 2 kills for Titans and 1 for Bible Study. And the gold lead is about non-existent. The farming patterns from both teams are incredible. They're utilizing it very well. Anytime these camps are up and available, these teams are going for it and just maximizing XP, maximizing gold to the highest potential. That's great news. Thor putting a bit of pressure on the Firebrands. Dark definitely wants to get a little more strength and intelligence for his side. I mean, that's definitely the right move.
Yeah, he lost the last ones to Sunprod with help of John Rowing, so make sure he can pick these up this time. Important for him. And we've kind of seen how much of an impact these Firebrands can have throughout the course of the game. If one team is able to consistently secure them, like we see a lot of times Screenplays has a lot of focus on those, it can really create a dire snowball that's hard to contest with. But now Bandolero looking for tempo.
Tempo hitting the Stygian Torment. Shards of Ice going to get the CC immune off the wall. Locking serve in place. Good damage from Kaveka.
Wow.
Going to take out Bandolero. Looking for a second. Jingwei's in the air. Does Kaveka have the dash? Chasing for Ragna. Is he going to be able to find him? Not so sure. Safety into the tier 1 tower. Finds the sun. Flame Wave follows. Ragna's in the grave. 2 kills for the side of Bible Study. This duo lane stocks are up.
And that's just what it needs. A little bit of time for this duo lane to get online. The early game feels very good for the Ymir, but as you go on, man, this Agni aspect is just so dangerous. You got the consistent, steady DPS from the basic in-hands, and then the burst damage that comes out as soon as you pop an ability. It's a lot to contest with, and now it leads to a Gold Fury for Bible Study, who were kind of lagging in the early game. Titans are now forced to find an answer as Bandolero makes the rotation, but in mid lane has some action.
The response is to put pressure in the mid lane. Globe has no escape other than the portal from Open the Gates, and that just wasn't ready yet. But even now, look, Titans invading onto the duo side, trying to get a bit of revenge for their fallen friend. Bandolero playing a bit of jokes here, but Kaveka able to not escape. Another kill goes towards Titans, evening things out on the scoreboard.
Now, that's just pure greed coming out from Kaveka. He could have left. He chose to stick around and try to get his purple buff, and it cost him his life, cost him his beads, and he's in a little bit of a worse spot. Not terrible, he's still 3-1, but it is a shutdown going the way of Titans. Bad news is, shutdown goal went to Bandolero. Ragna was not able to secure that last hit, which means he's not getting the boost in gold economy. So, while it is a little bit gloomy, you know, you can still see some light there.
Shutdown gold, regardless of who it goes to, is great. I understand you definitely want it on your carries more so than your support, but as long as somebody on your team's getting it, that's the main thing there. Sunprod half health, picking up the Firebrands and walking away from Dark, but Dark doesn't want to let him get away. Good damage falls with a tremble. Good burst damage from Dark as he hops into the air and
Nice anvil.
gets on out of there.
Oh!
Slams back down. He wants a piece of that pie, that's for sure. Mordred doesn't have what it takes to win this fight. Athena with good lockdown. Confound going to be locking John Rowing in place with the ult from Rowing. Is he going to be able to heal himself back up? No, he's not. Dark dives in to the tier 1 tower. Going to find another kill as Mordred's in the grave. Globe getting a bit of revenge, though. Dark taken down. Shards of Ice, so going to slow Globe down. Charging on in. Circus Hexstone knocking him up. Are they going to be able to get out of the tier 1 tower alive? Yes, they are, with a sliver of health. Bandolero evening things out. Great stuff from the Titans.
Man, that is such a wild fight to watch. Titans kind of displayed what their team is all about there. It's all about rotating in, finding those CC chains, and locking people down. John Rowing survived for longer than he should have, given what he was up against. But the amount of CC that comes through and the amount of mobility that the Titans have as well just proves to be too much. I like the attempt from Globe to come in there afterwards and try to clean things up. But unfortunately, it's too little too late. He does pick up the kill onto Dark, but you burn your ultimate, you die for it. Not really finding the even trade you're looking for. And it comes at the cost of golden XP because you're not farming your lane while you're doing that. So taking that spill does have consequences. And while ICD isn't super far ahead, you did see he was maybe half a level up on Globe at this point. And that's the kind of thing that can snowball if you're not very careful about your rotations.
That's a good point. I mean, there's definitely farms that you need to camp, and hopefully Globe didn't suffer too much while he was away, but getting a kill is good regardless. Kavega a bit out of position, waiting for reinforcements. Tempo's here, using that ghastly breath to get away the awful duo side of the Titans, that pesky duo side looking to lock down Kavega and try to keep a real one from succeeding here. Kavega still feeling comfortable, though. 3-1. Gold lead is definitely in their favor just a little bit.
I have another small skirmish here. ICD and Dark posturing around Sunprod and Globe, looking at the Harpies. Not going to be able to find those oracles, and no one really wants to take that fight. Bible Study has recognized we're not in a position where we want to fight. Sunprod's not really online just yet. Let's give him some time to get some more items, especially because this Gold Fury is coming up. No one needs to be taking any spills before that objective's on the board. Because sure, Bible Study has done a good job of getting it before. The game right now, very even. You're not seeing the effects of that Gold Fury into the gold department just yet. So this next one is going to be important because if Titans can secure that, that's going to push them ahead of Bible Study. And they've already shown they can take these fights a little bit more frequently, and they're the ones who can abuse that lead a little bit more effectively.
Thor moving over to the Pyromancer, 3 bodies on top of it. It's going to go to the side of Titans. Good focus there. Bible Study had no idea that was being taken away. Globe stepping up a little bit too far. Ice Ball going to keep him from going anywhere. Open the gates, gets Globe out of a sticky situation. Great solution to an awful problem that could have ended his life.
Could have ended his life indeed, but that does mean this ultimate is down. With the Gold Fury up, the Titans should have a pretty clear opportunity now where they can just transition over to the left side, but instead Sunprod who's in some danger.
Sunprod getting melted away, and right before he can get out, that ultimate saves his life. Can he get some damage out before he gets the grave? He couldn't find a kill. Dark is alive, and the rest of the Titans walk away, feeling a little unscathed, but pursue the weak, chasing down Ymir. Globe finds Dark, and Bandolero looking rough, chasing him down. Rowing finds the second. 2 bodies down for Titans. No third around, but still 2 kills is great. All you lost was Sunprod, so it's more than an even trade. That's good for Bible Study.
That's very good for Bible Study, and with ACD being a little bit low, about half health, less than half mana, this means Bible Study has the opportunity to make their way over to this Gold Fury. They've got the numbers advantage, because while only 2 falls, ACD can't step up to this. He's not in any fighting condition right now. Bible Study get to push themselves ahead, trade out the Pyromancer for the Gold Fury, and the reason you see this happen is the lack of retreat discipline, it felt like, coming out from Titans.
Yeah.
They did a good job of moving away from the Pyromancer. They killed Sunprod, get out of dodge, but then you saw them split on the retreat. Dark went into the mid lane, walked into Globe, he died for it. Bandolero walks off the other direction because he's trying to take some of that aggression and draw John Rowing away from ACD, which he succeeded in. But if you just stood together, you have more CC, and you probably don't need to lose anyone there. Just needs to be a little bit more careful in how you walk away from those fights.
Kaveka diving in deep, wanting a piece of Ragna, but Ragna hanging safe under that tier 1 tower. Not able to find anything there. ACD having to go back to base, low on health from a previous trade. Sunprod invading in, looking for Dark. He's going to find him. That basic attack damage is nasty from Sunprod.
Hey, I think he might be online now. He's got 2 items complete. Got the Bragi Harp, the Tear Fiend. That's a lot of yellow numbers coming out, and it's a little bit more than Dark is able to contest with now. This is where you're going to start seeing him outscale, and he's going to keep on going. Sunprod wanted to find Ragna, not going to find the kill, and I'm going to be able to walk away no problem.
Good feel from the Ymir, too. Almost lost it to tempo there, but if Bandolero wasn't there, that would have been bad news. Bandolero was there, though. Saved the life of his good friend Ragna. And going to live to see another day. We're looking at 15 minutes here, Spooky. It's 42,000 gold for Bible study and 2,000 less for Titans. It's a small advantage. It's not huge. It's not a snowball per se, but we're working up there. There's about 6 inches of snow on the ground right now.
That's a lot of snow, Mort. What do you mean?
Oh. I've only seen snow once in my life. I guess it wasn't a good analogy. Going into the fight here in duo lane, Athena ult out, looking for a piece of Tempo and Kaveka. Very low on health and even lower on mana. Kaveka not wanting to fight this. Titans having to back this up. There's nothing else to pull here. Gold Fury is down. No kills are available. I don't know about a wasted effort, but they weren't able to find anything.
They're trying to find a way to get to this tier 1 tower, and they're going to commit a lot to it. Here comes John.
Pursue the weak, not able to find the Ymir thanks to the shards of ice, but the lockdowns here. Confound taking down John Rowing. He suffered some CC, but didn't suffer a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Globe getting picked off here all by his lonely. The portal saves his life, though. A lot of low health bars across the board, but no kills suffered.
You know, remember when we were getting ready to go into this, and we were talking about Hecate getting buffed? This is why she doesn't need one, man. She gets out of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going in deep. Flicker's so good. Oh, no!
Oh, humongous Sunprod around the corner. Wasn't expecting that one. Ends up falling. A good kill on both sides here. Globe and ACD both down. Both mid laners are in the grave. Even trade-off for the team so far. And this whole game looks even. 8 kills on the board for both teams, but both teams definitely want to odd those evens out. Bandolero low on health, but great Hexstone. Going to take him out of Stygian Torment and definitely saved his life there. But around the corner, look at Sunprod on the backside.
Oh
Bandolero not expecting that one. Sunprod around the corner yet again. This man is always lurking in the shadows, jumping over the wall, gets him to safety, and Bible Study up on kills yet again.
This is why Bible Study was okay being even in the game for so long, because if Sunprod gets online on this Kali, he's just gonna run away with the game. He has picked off like 3 people now in quick succession just by popping up where they weren't expecting him to be. And that's what we have to constantly be wary of, is how Sunprod moves across this map. He's not a guy who's gonna stand in front of you. He's not gonna let you see him coming. He's gonna let his team pull your cooldowns out, make sure you have nothing left, and then he strikes, and you have nothing to run away with.
Globe can't find the portal. ACD takes him out. Great damage from Merlin right there. Thor looking to land back down. Where is he going to find a kill? The jump comes in from Sunprod, but he's going to find ACD. Looking for Ymir, finds a double. Looking for Dark, looking for a triple, but not able to find him there. Dark gets on out. 2 bodies down for Titans, and Bible Study looking to melt this tier 1 tower in the middle lane.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached Kali critical mass. Sunprod is just ripping through health bars at this point. And I like the idea from Titans. They have a good team comp, but the problem is they're not finding Sunprod at the start of these fights. Anytime you're burning your freeze, your taunts, your tectonic rifts on targets that are not Sunprod, he's sitting there in the back, he's rubbing his hands together, he's like, ooh, that's one more CC ability that can't hit me, time to go in. And he needs like 2 seconds on top of you, and then you're on the grayscale, wondering what just happened. I thought the sun was supposed to be bright. Oh wait, that's an O, not a U. This sucks for me.
Sunprod, just disgusting behavior. Did you see him waiting around the corner there, just waiting for somebody to turn around and fall to his hands? I mean, Sunprod knows he's in the zone right now. Those items are insane. Bragi's Harp, Tearfing, and the Sunbeam Bow. I mean, the damage is incredible. He's top damage out of everyone in the game right now. John Rowing barely behind him, and Bible Study know that they've got the power right now. They've got the aura. They're going to go for this Gold Fury scotch-free. Titans don't want to even contest it if they even knew about it. Bandolero having it back on out. John Rowing looking for some lockdown. Can't find it. Thor's in the air. I think the Titans are looking for a fight. Open the gates. Might be looking to pull. I think he is. John Rowing taking so much damage here, and he's going to get out of there? No way. Shout out to the portal. Great stuff right there. The Bible study able to get his friend out of harm's way, but Titans still looking for the pyro. They're going to be able to find it. Are they going to look to start a fight, though?
I don't think they should. They burned everything on that Pyromancer, burned a lot onto John Rowing not to find him. They have to get out of Dodge. They are 5,000 gold down. It's not a fight they want to take. Dark's super low. Everyone in Bible study feeling very good. Sure, you got yourself the Pyromancer, but now Bible study kind of has control of the map. They've got the momentum. They try to walk down Dark. Should be able to get out of here. John Rowing on the pursuit. Could burn the ult. Loeb in more danger.
Low, no, ends up falling to the Frost Breath. Bandolero locking him down, and another kill goes to the Titans, trying to even things out yet again. As now we're 20 minutes in, almost 20. 11 kills on the board for Bible study and 10 for Titans. Titans looking to make it 11, but Tempo jumping on out. It's about a 6K gold lead, 7K gold lead for Bible study. They're feeling good right now, feeling very nice with all 3 Gold Furies in pocket. They're feeling like they're on top of the world, but John Rowing might be a little out of position here. All 5 members of Titans surrounding John Rowing, but reinforcements, the cavalry's arriving for Bible study slowly but surely. Pursue the weak, looking to get him out, but can't find an exit strategy. Athena looking to hop onto the friend there. Jing Wei getting good damage off to Rowing, but Rowing diving back in. The reinforcements have arrived. Tempo jumping in. Kaveka melting down Bandolero. Shards of Ice trying to chuck away Kaveka with everything he's got. Oh my goodness, John Rowing's still alive. He's suffering so much damage, but he's living through it all, letting Kaveka go crazy. Dirty, spit nasty, 3 kills, 4 kills. Titans are down, looking for the deicide. Can they chase down PB for Lowell?
Man, this is why you gotta try to put the Agni down. You have to focus him down early, because if you don't, he just does so much damage. Kaveka had so much space to play with there because John Rowing knows how durable he is, but generally probably doesn't even care about his own life. If he can step forward and create that space for Kaveka, he doesn't care if he dies, because the rest of his team is going to win that fight. You have to be so careful about the fights you're choosing to take, and it feels like Titans have kind of gotten baited by John a few times in a row now. Around the Pyromancer, he gets out scot-free, forces a lot of cooldowns. They're not able to really find anything off of it. Then he steps all the way forward on the right side. They say, oh, hey, it's that guy we didn't get to kill before. Let's try it again. And he just buys so much time for his team to rotate in that the Titans can't really do anything. The Titans have drafted something where they're the ones that want to be rotating in on the enemy. They want to be dropping 2 ultimates down on a guy, created a big swing of numbers for themselves right away, and then fighting off of that. But instead, they're kind of putting themselves all grouped up into a position for Bible study to look at, know where everyone is, and when Bible study knows where all of the Titans are, this draft doesn't work.
Here's the problem on the side of Titans. They're going after John Rowing, who is living through everything because of the healing from Phoenix Shield, Spirit Robe, living through everything. But there's no anti-heal on the side of the Titans. Other than a Ruinous Ankh from Athena, there's no natural anti-healing from any of the kits on the side of Titan. There's no Divine Ruin, no Brawlers, no nothing that is locking down the healing that John Rowing has right now.
Yeah, it's a significant problem for the Titans. And we're kind of getting to the point in the game where if you don't have it by now, you probably are not getting it, because we are pushing towards Phoenix's left side. Under duress, Tempo more than happy to just soak up as much damage as he needs to. Look, he's a tanky boy. He doesn't care. Oh, he stepped out. Sunprod might be in danger.
Uh-oh. Bad news there. Look at Thor diving on in. The bead's going to save the life of Kaveka, but Bandolero went a little too hard. Ends up getting melted down. Great confound from Athena. Looking to get some damage off here. Titans doing a decent job of defending right now. They got a kill. They might have lost Bandolero, but the Phoenix is still standing. How do things continue from here? John Rowing deep in. He's got a dagger in his pocket as well. Globe finds a kill. Dark's in the grave. Globe's low on health, but they're still continuing the siege. John Rowing taking this Phoenix. He doesn't even feel it. There's mosquitoes biting on his arm. You think he cares about that? He's in the heat of the action. Just zoning away the entirety of the Titans. The Phoenix is free. Bible study looking good walking away from the Titan room.
I mean, that's the cost of not having the anti-heal. John Rowing just walks at you. He's in the Phoenix, doesn't care. He's got Fire Giant healing. He's got Phoenix Shield healing. He's got his own healing.
Yeah.
And you don't have anything to slow it down with. Finally, you are seeing Merlin, ACD, going into that Divine Ruin here, but you've already lost your left side, Phoenix. The damage has been done at this point. They are now 10,000 gold ahead, take themselves the Ancient Fury. It's going to be a lot easier now to break down those tier 2s and open up more of this base of the Titans. And they're very much on the back foot. You've got to try to find a way to get scrappy and get some damage in. You're looking for picks. You're looking for Dark and Blue-Lay to try to single someone out. But now it's tough to burn 2 ultimates on just getting 1 kill. Do you really want to use Anvil of Dawn and Defender of Olympus? Then you might not have anything for your Phoenix defense. It's a tough situation to be in.
The toughest situation is, I hate to just beat a dead horse here, but the lack of anti-heal, it's not just Mordred either. Kali has natural healing in her kit. So does Cerberus. When he uses that anti-heal from the passive, he's healing that back. You can deny a little bit of that with the anti-heal. John Rowing might have bit off a little bit more he can chew. Is he going to be able to find Ragna? Dashing away. Rowing waiting for reinforcements, but all that arrives is just more members of Titans. But is this a distraction scenario? John Rowing still alive. 4 members of Titans over here on the duo side and pushing down the middle bird. Bible Study got another, and they're going to go towards that tier 2 tower in solo. That was a distraction scenario. It worked out perfect.
So when I said look for a pick, I didn't mean the hardest guy to kill in the game. I was kind of maybe thinking Kaveka or Globe, something a little bit easier to take down. Because, yeah, you killed John Rowing. In the meantime, Bible Study said, hey, there's 4 people over there. John, are you good? He said, yeah, man, I'm good. Okay, take the tier 2. And you know what? Take the Phoenix. He's still alive. You're still alive? Okay, I guess we're going to go take the other tier 2 now. 3 structures off of what Titans were trying to make a proactive play on. They just don't have the room to spend that much time killing 1 dude right now. And now Titans have a broken base, only 1 Phoenix left alive. And with Fire Giant coming up, Bible Study pretty much have a free one to go over, grab that Fire Giant, take the Obsidian Dagger. Titans kind of have to try to contest it because you're not going to win against 5 Fire Giant with 2 Phoenixes down. But it's a tough fight, and you're really just looking for a steal rather than a full commitment.
26 minutes in, 17 kills on the board for Bible Study and 12 for Titans. A 10,000 gold lead for Bible Study. They definitely planted the seeds earlier by grabbing those Gold Furies, stacking them up. They've gotten 4 by now. I think at least 4, maybe a 5th, at least 4. And the gold is certainly showing it as they're doing this song and dance around the Fire Giant, maybe looking to bait it out as they want to start a fight. Sunprod jumping in, looking for a stun. Is he going to be able to find it? He did, but good damage from Bandolero, though. Is he going to be able to get melted down? Thor's in the air. Tempo takes down Athena, trying to peel from the backside. Kaveka taking away Dark in the blink of an eye. Pursue the weak, taking up Ymir, taking him for a ride. Bandolero comes down with a crash landing as he hits the grave. John Rowing finds Ymir. 3 bodies down for Titan. Sunprod is the only one down for Bible Study. They're looking to run this down. Can they find another pick on ACD? Merlin trying to zone away here. Can he find it? John Rowing takes down ACD. 4 bodies down for Titans. They might be looking to end this here as all 4 members of Bible Study are running this down. Ragnar has nowhere to go. No dash available. John Rowing chasing him down to the fight, and can he find him? No, he can't. It's cool. He's under the Titan, taking it for the team as they now start putting pressure, looking to end this game quick. 8,000 health, 7,000 health. They open the gates, takes down Ragnar. Deicide before they finish this thing off, and this game is going to Bible Study.
Excellent work coming out from Bible Study. That's exactly why Titans couldn't make that commitment, because they just don't win those fights. You can try, but it won't come up the way you're looking. Sunprod jumped in by himself into 2 people, and he got CC down. Like, the taunt came in, he wasn't really putting out the damage he wanted to. Hit destruction. Open the gates. Cool. I'm gonna go back to my team. Dark comes crashing down. Sunprod was very lucky to avoid the stun timing on that Anvil of Dawn, so he was able to put some damage out into Dark before he got taken down. But from there, I mean, it just collapsed for the Titans. Bible Study simply pressed forward, and it was as simple as John Rowing getting to the front. 1 stun comes out from Kaveka to catch ACD, and it just wraps from there.
Incredible stuff from both sides. I mean, the Titans definitely picked up They put up a good fight, but the problem is the anti-heal wasn't there, and healing was the entire composition for Bible study right there. 3 gods. If you want to count the lifesteal on Kaveka, you could say 4 just relied so heavily on gaining health back throughout these sustained fights. The Titans didn't have a whole lot of burst damage. A lot of people know that Merlin has sustained damage. Jing Wei also pretty sustained damage. I mean, those crits hit hard, but sustained damage overall. But let's look at some of the replays and really break this down.
Yeah, right here, Sunprod's first foray into the enemy jungle. Kind of where things were looking good for Titans. Pick up their first blood, punish Sunprod for overstepping. But one thing about Sunprod is he learns from his mistakes. And so while we do see Dark take this good initial fight, Sunprod just doesn't make that mistake again. He says, okay, I have to respect this guy. Let's buy our time until we got some items online. And then we go from there. Dark kind of ran this early game. You see this rotation here where he comes down onto John Rowing, burns a lot out from this Mordred. And mark this in your memory well, because you're not going to see this guy die very often.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to be doing in the early game. Dark took great steps in the early to shut down Mordred before he had the Phoenix Shield, before he had the Spirit Robe. This is when Mordred is his most vulnerable. Take advantage while you can. That's exactly what they did. Look at this, 2 kills on the board for Titans. I mean, they had a great start to this. They were up on kills for the first 5-10 minutes or so on and off, but slowly but surely they started to slip because of what we talked about, a couple other factors, and mainly the anti-heal. I think that's just such a prevalent factor right now. Healing is such a huge part of the game that you need to have that in kit. Divine Ruin's also a great item. I don't think it's bad by any means. There's just no reason to not have it.
Yeah, I think one thing that we as Smite players, and I'm going to say I'm guilty of this as well, if I don't see like an Aphrodite and a Yamojo over there, I'm like, who needs anti-heal? We don't need that stuff. But unfortunately, there is a lot more healing than that. It's in the items. It's in Phoenix Shield. It's in the Cerberus. It's in the Kali. And it adds up. It's quiet numbers that you don't really notice right away. And unfortunately, Titans were just a little bit too slow to recognize that. Didn't get the Divine Ruin finished. Only had that Ruinous Ankh. And unfortunately, it's just not enough to get you there. By the time they were getting those online, honestly, Bible Study already had such a good lead that even that anti-heal wasn't going to be the biggest difference maker. It's one of those things we have to get early to make sure that the healing doesn't get them ahead.
One thing I do want to highlight on the side of the Titans is P4B with this Athena pick. I think that Remikami kind of set the standard for Athena solo not being as bad as people think. It's actually pretty solid. Solid enough to where you're playing in Smite Prime, that's for sure. Yeah. And P4B did a great job of utilizing what Athena brings to the table. It's pressure, global pressure. You're able to get some decent damage off. Confound is a great lockdown tool. You're able to get these fights started very well for your team. So I really like the Athena pick here. I think the P4B definitely a little bit of things to work on from the team as a whole, but definitely good stuff from Athena overall.
I do think maybe there could have been more value in taking the aspect, because I think a big problem that Titans were having was getting enough damage out onto the backline of Bible Study. We didn't consistently see them getting onto Kaveka. We saw some dives onto Glow, but he was able to just sneak his way out through the gates. But if you had that additional targeter, if you had P4B just dropping down on someone with Dark coming crashing down, abusing that extra damage they take, maybe they win some more fights and get things going a little bit more easily for them. At the end of the day, though, it's the game that's played that matters, and Bible Study simply played it a little bit better.
Well, we'll see who plays better. Let's see how far Bible Study goes in week 1 of the circuit. We're going to take a quick break before we move on, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Just watch the Titans and Bible Study face off, and Bible Study emerged victorious. A couple other teams faced off as well. The Bong Grippers emerging to round 2. I had to say it. The Bakery finding a dub over Ballet Inavoidable. That's a funny one. I wonder if they spelled that wrong on purpose just to be complicated.
But that's French.
How do you say it?
Spelled correctly. Don't ask me how to pronounce French. I'm American, bro.
So am I. Why would they put that? They're trying to make us look like buffoons. They just made me look like a buffoon. Okay,
that's not hard to do.
Oh, great. We're really just driving into me here.
Hey, it's
So-
only because we love you, Mort.
Love you too, Spooky. It's Spanish, not French.
I'm American.
you,
I don't know
Tess.
languages.
I don't either. Oh, this is great. This is just great.
Listen. The American education system failed me. I didn't even go into it, okay?
You didn't go into it. Were you raised by wolves in the wilderness?
I mean, they're not that bad.
Okay. Okay, so for the sake of moving this forward, we're looking at MB Backstep versus the Bong Rippers for our next game, another one in round 2.
We sure are, Mort. I thought
Yeah.
we were keeping it moving forward. I'm sorry, buddy. I mean, it's a good match we're looking forward to. You got some big names in there. Like we mentioned, Twig's on there. I know you're a big fan of one of the players on the Bong Rippers, On Her Knees. We've seen around the scene quite a few times. I don't believe they're playing ADC. I need to double check that, actually. No, that's
Let's take a look at the picks and bans and find out.
Weird for a guy with On Her in his name. Don't you think?
Well, I think the On Her is not meant to like represent the god that he plays, but the analogy that his,
I don't.
yeah.
I don't really know what you're getting at here, Mort. On Her can be a good support, though. I've seen it a few times. You know, you've got a knockback, a stun, you've got a wall, a slow, a knock up.
Yeah.
That's a
Yep.
support god right there.
It really is. It really is. I mean, if we saw genetics in this game right now, he might be busting it out, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen here. I think we'll maybe. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done my homework. I've only seen this player in an assault game, so obviously he didn't choose who he was playing. Which, crazy enough, he actually was playing On Her in that game.
See?
Loki gets banned away for backstep. That's a big pick. I mean, I don't know. Let me put it like this. I'm looking at MB backstep, and I'm seeing some phenomenal names. I see Remikami. I see Kiaka, Twig. Those 3 names are definitely names that Smite Prime fans know. Speak No Evil, one of the best supports, in my opinion, in Smite Pro scene right now. And Mario Bro, one of my favorite carries. I mean, great Twitch streamer, great carry. I said great carry. He's a phenomenal player right there. I got a lot of respect for Mario Bro. But I look at the side of Bong Rippers, and I see some names I don't know. I see Bong Rip Eric is a little familiar in some casual queues. I've seen On Her Knees in some casual queues. I don't know this team so well. I kind of see some new fresh faces up against some top dogs, and it's hard to not think that on paper, Backstep comes out on top.
Oh, it's no surprise to see how things are going already here in the drafts either. Lots of attention paid to the jungles. Mongrip Eric and Kiaka having their pools narrowed down a little bit. Obviously, the Agni gets first pick. It leaves Kali up for the Bong Rippers. I think MB Backstep is pretty okay with that. This is an active decision they made. We already seen how effective this Agni can be, and frankly, shocking to ever see them on the same team. But the Bari getting through as well is something we don't see a whole lot of. Normally, this Bari kind of gets looked at a little bit more. A little bit less so with the rise of these junglers. There are a lot that kind of get a lot of attention. Fenrir, notably Aladdin, Hoonbots, all have some big plays that they can make. So while this Bari is very strong, she can start to slip through a little bit more because her dominance is around those lanes, around the team fights. It's how she individually plays rather than how much damage she does in a big situation. She doesn't pick someone up and drag them to their death. She's kind of consistently pokes you out and just never dies.
Interesting from the Bong Rippers here to get Ares away from backstep, because it's smart. Speak No Evil is probably the best Ares player I know that I've ever seen in Smite 2 existence. I mean, this guy's an absolute demon with the Ares. So to take that away from him is smart, but you got to be able to channel something similar. You can't just pick the Ares and expect for results.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how much value this Ares is going to find against the MB Backstep team. Because, I mean, take a look at them. Thor, Anvil of Dawn, Mordred, Pursue the Weak, Baron Sammy,
Right.
Life of the Party. Yeah, Vulcan and Agni don't have any inherent CC immunity in their kits, but they can pick up beads, you can pick up a Talisman of Purification. I think it's actually going to be very difficult for Ares to find anything with the no escapes, which means you're looking at the value from the shackles. You're trying to connect onto Agni, you're trying to connect onto Vulcan and Thor, and make sure that these guys cannot dash away from you and your team can get in there. The real value you're looking at is the cavalry charge from this Guan Yu. If you can pull beads and shut off the escapes, you can cavalry charge in, find a big stun, and that's going to be your path to success. Open up the path for Kali.
One thing that just crossed my mind is that Ares has the shackle, which cripples, right? And Mordred uses his passive to dash. That dash procs Phoenix Shield. So if he can't dash, if he's crippled away, he loses healing from the Phoenix Shield. That inherently is anti-heal. Ares is anti-heal for Mordred. It sounds crazy. It sounds like reach, but it's truth. It really is. Like he's not what?
Reach.
Okay. So he's not. That is the name of one of the abilities there. No, it inherently is actually a huge counter pick, and I can't help but wonder if it's intentional or not. Whether or not it is, it's huge. Let's find out as we get into the game for MB Backstep versus the Bong Rippas.
One thing we didn't get to look at too much is this Zeus as well. Going to be taken into the mid lane, and that's something we haven't been seeing a ton of. You know, a lot of times we see the Zeus get picked, and he goes over into the left side. He's been playing ADC. Seen him come back to the mid lane a little bit more frequently now, which I love to see. And has a few more tools to kind of stay safe. The shields can come through now. But now with erosion in the game, might actually be difficult for Unstrict to stay safe on this Zeus, because the Bloodbound book can be affected by that erosion, make the shield that much less useful.
Right.
And if you cannot break, or if you can't keep that shield up, if you can break through it easily, Zeus has really nothing to do but try to out-damage you. And it's hard to do if you're getting ganked. Bong Rippas certainly need to play safe in this mid lane. Make sure Unstrict doesn't get focused up too much, because this is a very scaling-heavy team. Z-Jinx on the Bari, Unstrict on the Zeus, even Bong Rip Eric on the Kali. They all want to get to that late game. Whereas you look over at MB Backstep, this is a team that can get active a lot more quickly. Twig can just start throwing bombs at you. He can put turrets down, poke you out. Mario Bro, he's going to be just flinging basics. He doesn't have to worry about too much. Sure, you might have to get some items online for the bases to do damage, but he's still got the bursts coming out from the aspect damage as well. So there's a lot to be concerned about in the early game from MB Backstep.
Speaking of aspects, we can look at the Mordred aspect, who's going to be going for cooldowns on his abilities over extra attack speed. We're less focused on basic attacks for Mordred. We're more focused on getting those abilities cycled over and over and over, and that's how we proc the Phoenix Shield. That's an investment into that late game dominance you see from Mordred players. We just saw that last game. We just saw that with John Rowing. Remikami is going to try and channel the same energy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if your basic attacks aren't really giving you those extra procs, if instead you're just healing 2% of your health bar every second. It kind of evens out in your favor on that one. Shackles do come through. Misses onto Mario Bro. Shell already expended.
Flame Wave did some massive damage there, but couldn't find the kill. Mario Bro low on health. So is Tame Toy. Backing things up. They don't want to play too excited, because look who's around the corner. Bong Rip Eric. Looking for a potential gank there. Does have a stun available. Level 3 on both junglers. Thor not showing up, though. Tame Toy a little out of position. Kali looking for a flank. Might be jumping onto this this Baron, but instead looking for Mario Bro. I wonder if they're going to... Yep, they collapse here on Baron. Low on health here. Where is he going to go? He doesn't have a dash. Consigned Spirits can't help too much here. But Thor, reinforcements have arrived. Looking to make sure that Baron gets out of the sticky situation there.
That just feels a little bit odd on how we decide to approach that. Bong Rip Eric comes over the wall, and he's looking at Mario Bro. It feels like he's decided he's not going to go for that kill, but he drops the stun anyway. And with that gone, all the kill potential just drops. Wasn't able to catch Tame Toy, so he's just able to walk on out. And yeah, Kieka shows up, but didn't really have to do a lot. Good thing, too, because he had no mana to do anything with. So everyone just kind of walks their separate ways, which ends up being very good for the Bong Rippas, because if there was a little bit more mana on Kieka, we probably see a little bit more aggression. Mario Bro probably kills Bong Rip, because you saw how much damage he's able to do with that Flame Wave this early on. Gotta be very careful on how you're approaching these fights, and especially where you're using the abilities. As it stands, though, Bong Rippas lose really nothing from it, and expend a shell, go back to neutrality, and they're just fine over there.
doing just fine. It's an aggressive start, but we haven't been able to find any kills just yet. I mean, definitely we're looking for early aggression. Both teams want to play for that Gold Fury very early up. It spawns at 5 minutes, and it does have decently low health, meaning if there's 1 or 2 picks from one team, the other team can go straight for it, melt that health bar quick. There's a lot of objective burn on both sides, especially with Vulcan. Those turrets are able to melt it quick, but instead of the Gold Fury, let's talk about the pick that could be happening on her knees. Bong Rip Eric over the wall, looking for a stun on Tame Toy. Couldn't find it. Tame Toy still looking decent on health. No kills found yet again.
Constant aggression on this left side, but again, Bong Rippers are a team that scales very well into the late game, but they don't do a whole lot in the early game, so their decision to constantly look for these plays very quickly is a little bit questionable to me, because it's not really finding them too much. Unlike this gank onto Unstrick, you might find a lot.
Uh-oh. Thor doesn't have an ult to jump in. Might have dived a little bit too far. Thor putting on the juke shoes. Kiaka couldn't find him. And doing a good job of zoning Bong Rip Eric, getting Thor out of a sticky situation. Oracle is going to get taken down by Bong Rippas. Now they've got vision of the Gold Fury when it spawns up.
That's still not bad for Backstep, because they did pull the beads out from this Zeus. Now it's a little bit more gankable. No mobility. Ultimate is down as well. Kiaka hasn't hit 5 yet, so there has been no ultimate expenditure from him. As soon as he takes over, he can go into the sky, dunk down onto Unstrick. Look, Twig expended his ultimate on the Firebrands, which didn't find a lot, but it's coming up.
Speaking of expended ult, Life at the Party looking to lock down on her knees, but able to get out of there. Ares doesn't really want to fight here. Barial might be saving his life. Is it going to? No, it's not. Rain Fire making it rain on top of Jinx. Going to be falling here. First blood goes to Backstep. Oh, and second blood also going to Backstep. Remakami finding a kill on Guan Yu over in solo thanks to the help of the jungler Kiaka. Maybe looking for a third. Rain Fire might have stepped up a little bit too deep on her knees. What's going on here, man? Bong Rip Eric looking for revenge. Baron has no mana. He's got some health, though. Can Eric find the damage? Chasing down Tame Toy. And look, here's Zeus. They really want this duo lane bad, but are they going to be able to catch up? Tame Toy not able to get out of here, though. Chasing him down. Found a stun. Unstrip is going to make sure that Tame Toy falls. The first kill of the game for Bong Rippas.
Man, it took a lot to find that kill. Meanwhile, Backstep find 3 in quick succession. Did expend the Anvil of Dawn on that right side, but let's talk about the left side for a little bit here. It just goes way too long. I don't know whether the Bong Rippas decide to stick around for as long as they did. Sure, you lose Jinx because it was a fight. Understandable. On her knees at that point, needs to just take the steps back and try to make sure he's not in danger anymore, because you can't win that 1v2. Mario Bro on this Agni does way too much damage. Now he's got a Rage online as well. Thankfully for them, no stacks just yet. But he's going to have that crit. He's going to be hitting a lot harder. And sure, most of his damage comes from the basic attacks. But the burst damage that comes after you get all those stacks is very significant. And you see the range at which he can do that. You can't say, oh, I'm safe from the Agni because I'm out of his base attack range. The Rain Fire goes deeper than that. And there is no safety. And there is no safety under this tower either. Kiaka picks up the Guan Yu as a 4th kill for MB Backstep.
Very good aggression. Mordred able to find the stride here. Thanks to that mystical mail, I'm sure that's definitely helping with damage output. Now, I wonder who's at the top for player damage. I'm sure it's going to be Mordred somewhere up there. Fight around the Gold Fury. Lightning Storm is here. Life of the Party looking to get him out of harm's way, using that CC immunity. Good damage onto the Kali. Kali swinging away, but Tame Toy has nowhere to go. Circus Hexstone couldn't find the escape plan. Tame Toy hits the grave. One body down for Backstep. Are they going to be able to find another Mordred? Rotating in from the backside. Remakami able to find Jinx. Great job there. Pursue the Weak already back up. Found another kill. Trip is down. Double kill. And another one found from the Thor. That's 3 bodies down for the Bong Rippas. And they're going straight to Gold Fury.
That was an easy rotation coming in from Kiaka and Twig there. They see so much burned onto Tame Toy, who just sits in the Life of the Party, just buying time for his team to make that rotation in.
Right.
Finally turns around, gets the stun onto Eric. Quick beads pull. Nice and easy sets up for Kiaka to come down from the Anvil of Dawns on the back end and just rip through what was left. MB Backstep is doing a very good job of separating these fights and making sure the Bong Rippers aren't together, because that's where they're really kind of strongest. If the Bong Rippers want to actually win a team fight, they need their Ares ults, they need their Guan Yu ults, and they need it in conjunction with the Zeus as well. These are all big teamfight ultimates that aren't getting the time to play together because they're kind of spending too much time trying to chase a kill, then trying to disengage in separate ways, and they're not watching for these rotations come from nowhere.
Lightning Storm used on Twig, but Twig makes it back to the safety of the Tier 1 tower, waiting for the detonate, but it did not land. Zeus very low on health, trying to put on the juke shoes, but he just couldn't dance. Kiaka gonna lock him down and say no dancing here. No escape. Gonna be pulling Tame Toy, though. Does Tame Toy fall? So immunity comes from the Consigned Spirits, but still crippled. Still finding damage, but not enough to take down Tame Toy. 1 kill goes to Backstep.
There's no way you just stand there, right? You're just begging for Eric to come jump on you.
Is that what he did? Oh!
No way!
No way. That's amazing stuff from Tame Toy right there. Bong Rip Eric put in the grave. Great stuff. Look at that. 9 minutes in, 9 kills on the board for Backstep, and they've got a 6K gold lead already. Talk about a snowball.
Tame Toy doesn't even have Fizz Prots built outside of that War Flag. He's got the Hexstone for HP, and then he's got Magical Prots. And Bong Rip Eric was still not able to get that kill. Tower just does a little bit too much damage to him. And I'm kind of surprised he backed off Kiaka when he did, because he had the advantage in that fight. Tame Toy was still all the way up on that mid lane tower. If you wanted to find an aggressive play, that was probably the place to do it. Unfortunately, wasn't able to quite find what he's looking for. And now, MB Backstep kind of get to have control of this mid lane. The way Twig can just place turrets around to both spot incoming enemies and kind of shut off these approach paths, I think is a very underrated aspect of the Vulcan. Those turrets are annoying to deal with, and you can just kind of drop those things wherever you want and forget about them, because they're going to be guarding your back, and keep an eye on whatever is coming your way. And the enemy team kind of has to decide how they want to approach that. Do they want to go around? Do they want to try to kill the turret? If we kill the turret, it's really spending a lot of time. But if we're going around, that's also burning time. It just sucks, man, having to deal with a Vulcan who's ahead of you.
Especially with somebody who's as strong as Twig, who knows how to use this god very well. It's not even just about the turret. Backfire does good damage. So does the meatball. Able to find so much burst damage with Twig, along with the sustained damage from a turret. And now you can have 2 turrets in Smite 2. I mean, Vulcan is just such a strong god right now. I understand why he's picked up. And speaking of picked up, Thor's are going to pick up another kill. Diving in deep. He was in the air, and he lands back down. Picks off Jinx with the blink of an eye. Looking for another. Bong Rip Eric trying to sustain the damage, but the Flame Wave follows Kiaka, finding a double kill and a purple buff as well. They're leaving the enemy jungle wealthy and healthy.
I'm kind of glad we got to see this Thor come in this game. Hold that thought, on her knees. In a lot of danger. Gonna be Tame Toy picking that one up nice and quick. The last game we saw the Thor jungle where we went the aspect, and you get some early prots. You don't have quite as much burst damage. Now you're seeing the opposite of that, where you don't take the aspect, and you have all your damage on board, and you just delete people. Granted, you're also 3 levels up on the Princess Bari that you jumped on. Jinx didn't have much of a chance to— Good God! And that's my point right there. That's my point.
Oh, huge. And what I love about that, the burst damage is just possible because there's no aspect from the Thor. The aspect of Thunderstruck isn't selected, so there's more focus on the one doing massive damage. Along with the Hydras, along with the Jotuns, there's just so much damage to offer from Kiaka right now, and he's definitely taking advantage of it. 6-0 right now.
And it's a very big shame for the Bong Rippers because they do have the tools to kind of shut some of this down. The problem is, we're at 12 minutes and they're 10,000 gold behind. So yeah, you have the tools, but you don't have the health bars or the items to effectively put them into practice. So MB Backstep kind of just get to walk around this map doing really whatever they want right now. And the Bong Rippers don't have a lot of ways to stop it or slow it down other than just try to find the farm that does exist on the map. You have to allow some things to go Backstep's way. The Gold Fury is going to be one of them, unfortunately, for the Bong Rippers. There's nothing they can do about it. They can't step up to it, because right now, Unstrict is fighting for his life, and it's not going well for him.
Through the week, going to be putting up Kali. Kali diving into the safety of the tier 2
Wow.
tower, but pulling in.
Oh!
Is he going to find the Zeus? He is. Tantoy takes one. Twig takes another. 2 bodies down for the Bong Rippers. Looking for some lockdown. Pushing hard on this tier 2 tower in the middle lane. Barrio out, but could it save? Yes, it did. Jinx is going to make it to safety. Playing up a little bit too hard. Guan Yu doesn't have a whole lot to offer here. Going into the horse.
around.
Horsey mode gets a good stun off, but
Oh.
Remakami just does not care. The damage output's immense, but on her knees is going to find the kill. Kiaka is in the grave for the first time this game.
Finally gets that kill. It's off the back of a Shackles connecting, stopping the hammer out. Enough damage to bring him down. Just a little too aggressive from Kiaka there, but I love the way Backstep played that fight, especially Tantoy hopping into the life of the party, pulling first, Eric back in, turning to the wall once he was close enough so he didn't end the ultimate, and flipping back to make sure he got unstrick as well. Securing both those kills in quick succession is what really allows that tier 2 tower to go down, open up so much of this map for Backstep now. And we kind of saw how ineffective this Ares probably feels right now. The Talisman of Purification comes out, and he just can't find any value with the ultimate. We still have a tier 1 tower stand on the left side, and frankly, this right side just doesn't feel good for Yeah Man, You're a Beast. He doesn't really get to play the game against Remakami at this point. He's just trying to hold on and make sure this tier 2 doesn't drop.
That's all he can do. All he can do is hold on for life and wait for both sides to just get farmed up a little bit more. I think there's good scaling on the side of Bong Rippers, especially with the Kali. But it's just a matter of getting to that point. Bit of a skirmish happening in left side. Look at Remakami go. Finds Pursue the Weak, locking down Kali. But Kali's got the invincible, able to find a kill. Bong Rip Eric takes down Mario Bro. Remakami looking for revenge, but good zone from Jinx. Remakami does not care who he kills. He just cares that he kills. Kick out of nowhere. Slam dunk. Touchdown. Amazing stuff there. Remakami finds another. 3 bodies on the floor for Bong Rippers. Looking for a 4th. Looking to get a lockdown. Is it going to be able to find? Twig finds it. 4 bodies now. Bong Rippers are in the grave. Backstep have the map all to themselves.
Man, Jinx was so lucky having those Guardian Spears. Otherwise, Kiaka literally just kills Eric and Jinx in the same hammer toss. Temporary Aegis keeps him alive for a little bit longer, not long enough to get him out of danger though. Envy Backstep firmly in control of this game, 13k ahead at a 16-minute mark. Gold Fury is down, but Fire Giant is on the board, and frankly, with this lead, Backstep could just go for an early Fire Giant instead, looking for a little bit more aggression around the Phoenix line. I don't know about this one, Rema. Okay, he's going to pursue the weak on out.
It does not matter what this man does. He heals an intense amount. There's no handling what he brings to the table. But what really shocks me is that there's still... Well, I guess there's Lernibo. Lernibo does have anti-heal, but not a whole lot of anti-heal in general just to shut down Remakami. He's able to keep the whole team distracted. Fire Giant's free. Backstep are stepping forward to the fire, grabbing it for free, and now looking to march down the solo lane as 2 members of Bong Rippers are sitting in duo trying to chase a kill that they're certainly out of reach. What are they doing? Farming right now? What's the plan here?
Well, the plan was we can still catch Remakami and punish him. He doesn't have an ult. And then the Fire Giant died, and so the plan now becomes, oh dear, we need to go back and defend our Phoenixes because the tier 2s are almost certainly gone. I do like this play from the Bong Rippers. Give up the tier 2, go for the Gold Fury. He's going to give up a Phoenix on the right side as well, though. But you got to get something into your pockets and at least something away from Backstep.
Maybe they go for Middlebird here as well. They've definitely got the DPS online. Look at Mario Bro melting that thing away. The crits are going hard here. Rage is stacked up. I mean, there's just a lot of damage output from Backstep in general. I think they, well, the Bong Rippers are back. Maybe they don't push for the second, but they got 1 Phoenix in. That's definitely a W.
Man, the Gold Fury just takes so long for them to do. If it was a little bit faster, it's a better play, but they're just so far behind, they don't have enough DPS to burn it quickly in response to that Fire Giant. I still like what they did. It's better to be proactive than passive, even if it doesn't work out. And what I really appreciate is they all went to it at the same time. Even if it cost them a Phoenix, it'll certainly cost them a left side tier 1 tier 2 tower as well. Remakami's coming in.
Who's he going to find? Zeus is already in the grave looking for another. Takes Bong Rip Eric for a ride. Comes down with a crash landing. The Stampede is going to make sure that the Horsey gets Guan Yu to safety. But the Barrios, it's online. Whose life is he going to save? On her knees finds Mario Bro, who dove a little bit too deep. Bong Rip Eric takes down Kieka. The Siege is taking a turn for the worse. The dagger utilized here. Eric is alive and well, defending this Phoenix with everything he's got. Bong Rippers are doing fine, but the meatball takes down Eric. Oh no, that dagger was for nothing. Remakami diving deep here, looking for the bird. Good distraction from Remakami. He takes down Jinx as well. The base damage on this man is insane. Twig taking down on her knees. 3 bodies down for Bong Rippers. 2 Phoenixes down. Are they going to look for a third? Remakami doesn't care about Phoenixes. He does not care about Titans. He cares about kills. Just W-keying forward. There is no backstepping for backstep. They press forward. They take what they want.
Unstrick is alive and has the Lightning Storm available, but Remakami's coming in!
Oh my god! Let off the gas pedal for 1 minute, man. You're gonna flood the engine. He's diving in deep. He's looking for the kill. Zeus trying to get out of harm's way, but where did he go? To the grave is where he goes. Remakami's still alive. Jinx finally takes him down, but the rest of the team is still here. Adney walking up middle. Thor's a little late to the party, but Tame Toy is still here with Twig. Gets pulled. It might be just a distraction, though. Twig is still putting out damage. The ultimate comes out. Boom! Massive damage from the Earthshaker. On her knees, low on health. Guan Yu swarming away with the Tallow Assault. Mario Bro found the kill. Life of the party looking for another. Ares is in the corner over there. Please, don't hurt me, please. Baron wants a piece, though. Does not let off the gas pedal. They're not ending. They're not doing anything. They're just killing. Bong Grip is walking out of base just to get slaughtered like pigs. And now they're going for the Titan. Twig around the corner. The rest of the team is pressed up against the Fountain. Titan is getting chipped away by the Winions. Look, they don't even care. They're not even focusing the Titan. Lightning Storm trying to get him off, but it doesn't even work. The Titan is dead, and the game goes to a backstep. Good Lord, what a slaughtering.
I feel like we needed like a content advisory warning for the end of that game, because that was brutal, Morten. And I liked the attempt there from Eric at the start, right? You use the Obsidian Dagger, get that reset, and now we're looking good, right? You stood in front of an Inferno turret, and Twig literally did not have to do anything but watch as the cannon blasted him down, and all it took was 1 meatball to end that up. I mean, I don't even know what to say more, and so much happened, so much fighting, and it really feels like maybe Backstep could have ended a couple times during that time, but they did have to wait for the minions. They did have to clear out their opposition, and it's a tough call to say, okay, just end the game while you're looking at a Zeus who can drop Lightning Storm on you, while you're looking at a Guan Yu, he can drop a Cavalry Charge on you. You do have to make sure you're setting yourself up for success there. And that's kind of what a lot of that end game was. They were far enough ahead that they could just kill people, but they had to make sure that they were dead for the safety of that end call.
I really thought there was going to be some type of pushback, and there was at some points, but on paper it looked like an easy sweep for Backstep, and that's exactly what it was. The Bong Rippers might have been ripping a bit too much before the game, because it just felt like there was a lot of distractions going on. There was a lot of like calls that weren't together. The team wasn't communicating clearly, and it was very clear in the gameplay. I mean, there's just weird, uncoordinated events that just didn't transpire how they should have. Meanwhile, I mean, I don't know. It's just really not. It's hard to not call this a slaughter. That's what it was.
I mean, you kind of said it at the start here, right? We've got some very well-known players who've been around the scene very often, especially at these high-level events, against a team who's maybe not as proficient in this level of play. And so it naturally favors people who have, like, a world champion on their team. Cough, cough, Twig. What I do like was the tenacity that was shown from the Bong Rippers, who were still trying to make those plays. They were still trying to get active and find ways to bring themselves back. The Gold Fury call is one big one I would point to. Unfortunately, they were at a point where they're so far behind that they couldn't do those things quickly, and so it ended up just building into their deficit. And you could make this statement that, you know, if they didn't do that, well, their deficit grows anyway, because then Backstep just goes over to the Gold Fury, takes that for themselves, and it's one less thing for the Bongrippas. But it's hard to say what would have happened. Either way, Bongrippas were unable to find what they really needed there. Despite the attempts they made, just didn't come through.
Good stuff on the board from both sides, but overall, I mean, Remikami, Twig, Kieka putting on a crazy performance, and the structure damage from Mario, bro. That's when the carry really falls through. Even if, they might not have had the highest player damage or the most kills in the game, Mario, bro, just did exactly what he was supposed to do. He filled his role well. He played safe, only giving up 2 kills. It's just great stuff overall from the whole team. Really excited to see how they progress through. I mean, there's some big games coming up. I mean, the Bakery is still in, from what I understand. Bible Study, we just watched in the game before this, move forward. So I'm wondering who makes their way through. But we only have one way to find out, and that is progressing through. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Smite Prime. This is Morty on the mic, joined here by Red Rosie Panda and Test Dive, the Prod God. We've got General Jithens behind the curtain, and right next to me here in the booth is none other than Spooky Mars. How are you feeling, Spooky?
Mort, we just came off a heated game, is how I'll phrase that one.
Yeah.
We've got an even better one coming up next onto us here. We've got so much to look forward to for the two teams we're about to see. We've seen a lot already throughout the day. I do have one question for you, Mort. Is Jithens like an actual general? Like,
I don't know. I just started saying it because it's like I like giving nicknames to people I work with pretty often, and like they both have like
that's a
the
high
J.
rank.
Right. Well, he runs the Smite Prime show. This is
Right.
his whole thing. This
So
is
is he like a 3-star, a 4-star?
It's alliteration is what it is. It's not like anything
It's
serious.
not the same
like
letter.
That. But Jithens, General Jithens.
Yeah, but
Say it
alliteration
with-
is the same letter.
Well,
not
say
the
it
same
with me.
sound.
No, it's the same. Well, you're right. That's true. But it's like semi-alliteration. Just say it with me. General Jithens.
General Jithens. Oh,
Yes.
I like that. It made me feel something inside. My heart. It fluttered.
Okay. So let's take a look at the brackets real quick and see where we're at and find out what teams are advancing forward. Bible Study versus Gigmas.
Gigmas. You know,
Nice.
like gigabytes for Christmas. Gigmas.
This is full of bangers, honestly. Evolutions making it forward. Some of my favorite players on there. Clocked In versus Cherry Slush. Backstep versus the Bakery. I know that's going to be a heck of a game. But right now, we're going to watch Clocked In versus Cherry Slush. And there are some huge names here. We see Cherryo's back. Scream is in here. Cyclone, Bobby, all playing on one side, and joining them finally back is Benny Q, a huge name after receiving the huge title at the end of the Founder Series. This is a massive name up against Karmic, Tegveer, Happen, Paul, SpongeBob. These are names that we know and love on the side of Clocked In, a team composed of superhumans, of immensely powerful players to try and take down one of the best Founder Series performances we've ever seen.
Yeah, honestly, there have been a couple times where I've been devastated by players leaving. Benny Q was absolutely one of them. He's always so much fun to watch. So seeing him come back now, get back into the map, onto the battlefield of the gods, so we can see maybe some of the crazy stuff he has for us. I'm so excited for it. Part of me kind of wants to see maybe he'll play us a Ra. I know he probably won't. He's been playing a lot of the Hecate when we've seen him in the past, but there's a part of me that's just holding out hope for it, you know?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You want to see these crazy awesome snipes. You want to see these big plays come through, and I still think it could happen. I mean, there's definitely more mid laners available right now. Merlin, a couple others, but we only find out who is going to be played when we get into the picks and bans phase. So let's do that. Let's see who gets locked in for this legendary matchup of Cherry Slush versus Clocked In.
It's hard to think that we're getting this matchup this early into the bracket, right? This is like a grand finals level match that you could expect to see.
Yeah.
And we get it early. How lucky are we to see this? Princess Bari gets banned away, as well as the Kali. No surprises there. I'm interested to see if teams will start to maybe ban the Agni away, or if they're still kind of focused. Aladdin's still very good, flexes into a couple different roles, but the Agni has really been dominant in a lot of the games he's played. I feel like maybe he's a little bit undervalued, and I'll admit I'm someone who undervalues the aspect as well, just because I like the Teehee Firebomb, big stun, big damage numbers, and I can't hit basics, so.
I am not surprised to see Kali banned away. Scream has had multiple weeks of just amazing performances with the Kali that we've seen even here on Smite Prime during these casts. It's not just in the results, it's back in the VODs. You can watch him back, and Scream is a demon, a screaming demon, if you will, with this Kali pick. So wondering who he's going to get forced into. There's still a plethora of great junglers available. Maybe the Hunbats comes out here. Thor's not going to get picked up. Thor's banned away, forced away from Tegvir, who I'm sure a lot of y'all noticed has moved back into the jungle. Tegvir has a lot of previous experience with carry, especially throughout the lifetime of Smite 2, but recently he's moved back into jungle where he once was before, trying to find a bit of more comfort back in his roots.
Yeah, known jungle player in Smite 1, spent a lot of time there. Now moving back to his roots, we'll see how that shakes up for things. Hunbot's getting locked in early, no surprise there. You can see the targeted bans that are put towards that jungle. Scream didn't want to deal with a Thor. He wanted to make sure he could just drop the Fear No Evil, not have someone come dunking down, not have to worry about the CC immunity out of that. And Scream is one of those guys where if you know you've got a good pick, you're going to lock it in early for him. Fenrir alongside means there is technically some flex potential, but let's be real. That means that this is definitely going to inbound. That's going to be a Fenrir support alongside the Kate. That's going to be in Benny Q's hands. This is just a flying draft here, Mort.
A lot of great picks on this side. Fenrir was left open. He gets picked up. Ares was banned away, which is, I mean, incredible to see. The fact that Ares is getting ban priority right now in a matchup like this, that's the last god I would have expected out of 4 bans, and Ares is 1. But regardless, we press forward. Merlin getting locked in for Clocked In. Mordred follows. Cerberus, Agni. That's one heck of a team. But Apollo getting picked up here potentially. Hekate, Fenrir, Hunbats. No, not the Anubis. Come on. What?
All right. So we've got... I'm just going to say this is Anubis solo because I don't think it makes sense to put him in the jungle. Hunbats is really the only one here that is going to fit that role real well. One thing we haven't talked about here, Morty, there's a Merlin on the other side, and there's a player by the name of Paul on the other side. There's a Paul Merlin over there, a Perlin, if you will. How have we not talked about Paul just yet? This guy's insane. Like, one of the best to ever do it. Maybe the best to ever do it. Going up against Cherry Slush now. I mean, this game, I'm so excited, Morty, because there's so much raw talent on the draft right now. I got a Susano. That's going to be going in the hands of Tegvir, no problem. Known Susano player, very proficient on this character, and can get a little bit more active than the Hunbats can early on before level 5. So now I'm really interested to see if Tegvir will be willing to take those aggressive movements into Cherry Slush and try to take those fights against Scream, who's very well known to be a very active early game player. But on something like this, Hunbats probably has a little bit less to do. I'm interested to see if he'll still try to make those level 1 invades or not.
Let's look at this. Let's look at this whole game matchup by matchup. So there's Cherio versus Karmic, which is Founder Series all over again, which is great. Scream, considered the king of the jungle, versus Tegvir, who's looking to claim the throne. Benny Q versus Paul, 2 mid lane goats, phenomenal players going up against each other. Inbound and Happen, 2 great supports that are I don't even know how to put that one into words. I mean, both as a support main, I respect the heck out of both of these players. Cyclone Spin, another great carry we've seen through Founder Series, and SpongeBob, who's been showing up a whole lot throughout Smite Prime. SpongeBob has been running the show for Smite Prime, actually, and I can't even tell you how excited I am to see this game. This is incredible.
Inbound has always been one of those players that I think is very entertaining to watch. He has a very unique play style, and I really like how the Fenrir pairs with that. I think there's a lot of explosivity in this dual lane right now.
Well, let's find out. I've been excited for it. You've been excited for it. We're all excited for it. Cherry Slush versus Clocked In starts now. Let's get into the game.
Very frequently, back in the Solar Scarab days, Inbound was one of those players who very frequently tried to make plays, and a lot of the times the team wasn't on the same page and things didn't really go as you might think was planned, which led to a little bit of a stigma around Inbound, and I think he's really grown in the role extremely well.
Right.
But he's never lost that aggressive edge, which made him so unique as a player in those days. And I respect that so much because he's so entertaining to watch. And now on a Fenrir that pairs so well with that, especially in the meta we're in with Smite 2 right now, where these aggressive early gods can be very strong. This just feels like such a natural place for Inbound to find his groove.
Right. This is definitely the place for it. Look at this, Spooky. Paul and Benny Q back at it. I can't even get over the excitement. This is just awesome to see. I can't wait to see them throw down.
It's just such a classic matchup. These are two of the best mid laners. Like, Benny Q, I don't ever think really got a chance to shine while the SPL was going, because he was on one of the newer teams. There were some cohesion issues, and while they didn't find a ton of success, you could always tell how much potential skill was there. So seeing him now go against Paul again for the first time in ages, it feels like. I mean, this is such a monumental moment. I'm so happy to be here, and I do think there's a lot of potential really for either of these teams to take the lead. It's a really difficult one to say who has an advantage early, but take a look at that mid side. We're on a collision course there.
Maybe looking for first blood potential here. Susano looking for a pull. Diving in deep. Benny Q out of position. Gets melted down. Tegvir finds first blood. Scream might be second. Tegvir chasing down Scream. No somersault up just yet. Is he going to be able to get out of here? Looking to leap over the wall. Leaps back towards the safety of the tier 1 tower. And Scream is out. But Benny Q has fallen. First blood goes to Clocked In.
Excellent little play there coming out from Clocked In. It was a great collapse. They saw the Cherry Slush was on those oracles, or on those mid-harpies, and so they said, okay, you know what? Let's just see if we can pincer movement that. They don't have a whole lot of places to go. Early on, they don't have a lot of ways to disengage that, especially if Benny Q doesn't have the Mez ready. It does alternate between the two. And you kind of saw how that turns out for them. Tegvir has more damage early on. He's just able to leverage that. Maybe could have been more patient with the Tornado and the pull. The Wind Siphon doesn't connect to the Scream. He's able to dash or jump out of it. So now, Cherry Slush on a little bit of a back foot, but looking to make a change.
Inbound found the stun. Cerberus nowhere to go. He leaps back up. Hunbats chasing in deep. Scream able to get the damage. Brutalize gets the finishing touch on Happen. And the first kill is going to go for Cherry Slush already. 1 for 1. And we're 2 minutes in. I mean, like I said, this game is going to be neck and neck, and it's already showing.
I want to take a little bit of time to look at the items here as well, namely in the support role, where we do see the selflessness coming out from Inbound, contrasted against the War Flag that Happen has. And we were talking about this a little bit beforehand, where War Flag has been getting a little bit more popular due to the presence of erosion in this game, making selflessness a little bit less effective. But clearly Inbound still finds value there. And it's surprising to me that he's the one to do it, given how much Warflag seems to fit his playstyle. But Cherry in some danger here. Gonna get cut down by Tegvir, who's just on a tear through this map right now.
Love to see that from Tegvir. I mean, Tegvir is back in his roots, and he feels right at home. He's got his feet kicked up on the coffee table. He is comfortable right now. Tegvir in his zone, but one thing he did not see is Scream going for the Firebrands, able to take him away, and a bit of extra farm for Scream. Meanwhile, a bit of skirmishing happening in middle. Benny Q forced back under the tier 1 tower. Not a huge health transition there, but definitely some pressure coming out from Paul right now.
And this is something we talked about early on as well in the day, is Scream's insistence on going for these Firebrands, and now turning the aggression over to Tegbeer, drops a bunch of damage, picks up a nice kill for Benny Q.
Open the gates looking for another, but Flicker gets him out to safety. Open the gates, couldn't find the pull. Good effort, regardless. A for effort indeed. Cherry, however, getting chased down by Karmic. Mordred couldn't find the mark there, but got very, very close. Cherry healing up thanks to those health pots and a bit of lifesteal from Anubis' passive. He's going to stick around, especially because Scream is moving on over. Is he looking to gank? Maybe not. He's going to go farm up a little bit, and Cherry backing things up, does not want to fight Karmic right now.
Fear No Evil is not available from Scream right now, so a little bit less effective on the ganks. I like Karmic's decision to play that one safe. Yeah, he could have gone aggressive and tried to finish that tower dive up onto Cherry, but if he gets mummified, he's eating a lot of damage. He does not have deeds available, so can't get out of it. Better to play it safe and slow. Benny Q, though, not going to have the opportunity to be safe at all. Tegbeer is putting so much pressure out.
Oh my goodness, Benny Q is just not able to find escapes here. The ultimate wasn't ready, couldn't make a portal, couldn't get an escape out, and just gets caught out yet again. Tegbeer, now with 3 kills on the board, has transitioned into this jungle role perfectly. He feels right at home. He's got the Susano pick. That's what he's used to from Smite 1, and he is right where he belongs right now.
Yeah, Clocked In feels like they've got something against Benny Q coming back. They said, hey, man, what do you think you're doing in this turn? You said you were gone. Trying to push him back out. Benny, though, not a quiet performance by any stretch of the means. He's still contributing, still be able to put some numbers down on the table. And we're still early in this game, so these kills that have happened, not super impactful. About 200 gold split evenly between each player is the lead right now. Gold Fury, still on the board, likely not to be looked at until a little bit longer. This early in the game, a little bit risky to go for it. So Cherry Slush have some time to work with. What they do is they scale pretty well. They're looking for the team fights. These little quick one-off engagements, those aren't too much to be concerned about. And one thing we haven't talked about more is the Apollo that Cyclone Spin is piloting. New to the game, has a few tools that he didn't have in Smite 1, namely the ability to carry people around with him. So even if a part of the map is looking rough for Cherry Slush, Cyclone Spin can hop in the chariot, maybe take a couple people with him, find something a bit more better.
Fear No Evil's out. Looking for maybe Karmic.
No way.
Karmic, you pursue the weakness out of there. Great stuff overall. Almost lost his life for those Firebrands, but Karmic makes it out. Meanwhile, Cerberus diving in deep. Oh no, Apollo's in the chariot. Drive-by. Is he going to be able to find it? One basic melts him. 1 kill. Each support is dead, but the boxing continues. Minion wave all over Cyclone. He's not going to be able to fight that through. SpongeBob still showing some aggression. Definitely wants to press up here. He knows that Hunbats isn't anywhere nearby, but is he going to be able to find a kill right now? I don't know.
Cyclone definitely has a bit of an advantage here. He's going to be very careful. Only about a half level up on SpongeBob right now. And Tegbeer, as we talk, takes a trip to the right side, puts Cherry down. Now Cyclone got to be careful. Tanking these minions puts him in a dangerous spot for SpongeBob to look at. Inbound, though. Going to be coming in clutch to push him away.
Bobby's doing a great job of pressuring up here. I really like what he's up to. I mean, he's using Brutalize effectively. He's slowing down targets so Cyclone can just hammer out basics. But now they're fighting for this purple. Is it going to go? It does go to purple. It's going to go to Cherry Slush. Not a successful invade. Meanwhile, pressure from the middle lane. Benny Q falls yet again, and Tegbeer 5-1 right now. Oh my God.
5-1 on Susano. And notably, Paul 2 levels up on Benny Q as well. This mid lane is starting to look a little bit rough. And I have to wonder if maybe Scream needs to put some attention over there. We've kind of left Benny Q on an island. And Clocked In has not allowed that to be a peaceful paradise island at all. It's hell over there. Beads forced out from Paul with quick Fear No Evil. Doesn't find too much value there. Just keep Scream alive for now.
Bounds pressed up hard, looking for that neutral cam. They were able to find it. But having to back things up here now, Cherry Slush to calm in gauge here, we're sitting at almost 9 minutes, 6 kills on the board for Clocked In, 5 of those being in the pocket of Tegvir, and 3 kills for Cherry Slush. It's definitely a bit back and forth. It's a 3K gold lead. Great farming from Clocked In right now. Uh-oh, lockdown. Cherry taken out by Tegvir, and this guy is just roaming the map and getting kills left and right. That's kind of what you expect when you have 2 squishy mages that don't have escapes up against somebody like Susano.
I think I really need to take a time to highlight how impactful Tegvir's play is right now. Because, you know, you can look and say 6-1, oh, that's really good. But the thing about Cherry Slush is they have this ability to very quietly farm the map and amass a lead out of nowhere without getting a lot of kills. And a lot of times you'll see a team picking up some kills against them, but it's still Cherry Slush who's in the lead. Tegvir is timing things so effectively right now. He's getting something off of every single one of his rotations, but he's also making sure he's at his camps on time and that the rest of Clocked In is farming where they need to. This impact he's having cannot be understated because he's 6-1. Scream is 0-0-2, still on level with him. He's an immensely talented farmer who's so good at playing the map. But Tegvir is still able to leverage a lead for his team off his play, which is very rare for the opponents that go up against Cherry Slush.
And it's a farming game right now. I mean, we're trying to get back into this if we're Cherry Slush. We're trying to stay ahead if we're Clocked In. We're trying to just maintain farm that we can. Sieging Torment looking for a pick. Bobby wasn't able to get picked up there, using that Brutalize knock-up immunity to give him safety. But Tegvir, lurking in the shadows, Screams here as well. Good pull from Tegvir. Beads is out. Fear no evil force. Ragnarok picks up Cerberus, and the dog has been chopped down on. A kill on each side. Happen falls, but so does Cherry over in Solo's side. Karma getting a kill over there. Even trade-off.
It is a 1-for-1 trade-off, but it definitely favors Clocked In, taking down Cherry once again, putting the solo laner down, whereas all you lose is Happen, your support. You're absolutely fine with that trade. That is winning for you. Karmic is dominating the lane over there now. Scream in some trouble as well. Tegvir takes him down on a rampage. 7-1 is the Susano right now. There's no room for Cherry Slush to breathe. You said they wanted to farm. They need to just kind of slow this game down, get what they can. But Clocked In are the ones setting the pace. It's in the name itself. They're the ones setting the clock. You fight where they say, you fight when they say, and if you don't have it yourself ready, you're going to die. Now Clocked In with that pick, take down the mid tower, quick switch over to the Go Fury. It's just going to extend their lead so much more. I want to highlight where the focus has been more from Tegvir here, because he hasn't really been paying too much attention to this left side. He's not worried about SpongeBob and Happen. He's instead focused on the low mobility characters where he can leverage a lead. If he can get Paul ahead and Karmic ahead, they can run away with this game. They can pump out so much damage. Whereas, yeah, you can get a lot of damage out of an Agni as well, but it's harder to find the kills onto Cyclone and Inbound. They've got more CC, they've got each other to help out, they've got more mobility. And by keeping this mid laner down and keeping the solo laner down, they're able to get the Firebrands, they're able to rotate through this mid lane very easily without taking much harassment from BennyQ, and it's really allowed them to just control this entire flow of the game so far.
Jumping on in. Look at Bobby looking for the Ragnarok, but gets beads down. Sieging Torment takes down Bobby. Is he going to be able to get out? The portal's up, but he couldn't get to the portal in time. SpongeBob melts inbounds, health bar down quick. Another pick for Clocked In. They are now 10 kills on the board, and a Pyromancer soon to follow. No contest from Cherry Slush.
That's devastating for Cherry Slush because you saw them trying to group up and be the ones to aggress there. Three people around, grab Paul. Quick beats, no problem. Okay, we didn't get the kill, but at least we got the beats out. Wait, what the heck is that thing? Instantly, the tables are turned. Inbound gets tossed like an egg back into the tower. And there's just not a lot he can do there. Doesn't have the mobility to get out. CC was good. Couldn't get to the portal. Clocked In are just not allowing Cherry Slush to play the game they want to play. And that's one thing that a lot of teams haven't really caught on to, is you can't let Cherry Slush play their game. You have to be the ones determining what's happening. Otherwise, these guys can't come back effectively. Even at this deficit, 6,000 gold down, it doesn't feel unwinnable for Cherry Slush because they have so much talent there, but they're going against so much. The odds are not in their favor. Across the Sky is going to be used defensively to get Cyclone back to safety.
Providing a bit of safety there. Cerberus definitely wanted to find another pick, and I cannot blame him. You want to continue that snowball as much as you can if you're a member of Clocked In. I mean, it's definitely finding picks. It's maintaining farm, taking the farm away. Clocked In know what they need to do, and they're doing a good job of it because they're maintaining this 6K gold lead, which is just huge right now. Cherry 0-4, looking for a little bits of farm where he can, trying to pick up bits and pieces and crumbs of XP, but there's only so much you can find on the map when Clocked In are just utilizing every camp, every XP, every minion, every whatever to their advantage.
I just realized here, Mort, Tegvir is not going for your traditional ability damage, cooldowns, get all my value building. He's going for crit, man. He's got 2 stacks on Rage and a Deathbringer in his pocket on top of the Hydra's Lament. This guy hurts so badly. If you get a crit and a Hydra's proc at the same time, I mean, goodbye Squishy. I'm sorry, but you're not long for the world. And Scream just doesn't have the damage to contest with it right now. He's got CC, but we haven't seen big groupings from Cherry Slush for these team fights. And so the Fear No Evil hasn't really been a big factor in anything just yet. Yeah, he did manage to get that kill onto Tegvir earlier with it, but that was a 2v1. What can you do now to try to push your team ahead? And the answer so far has been not a lot. Good news is Gold Fury is coming back up, so that should be an opportunity for them to do something. At the very least, group up and maybe dance around, see if you can bait Clocked In into a bad position. But it's still an unfavorable fight for them.
One thing that sticks out to me like broad day is the rage, the crit chance in general from Tegvir. Is crit Susano just something I haven't known about? Have I been wide asleep on the potential there? I guess so, because look at the results.
Well, are you Tegvir?
No.
Okay, then it's not. Then there's nothing you've been sleeping on. You're fine, Mort. This is a Tegvir thing. If you're not Tegvir, please don't do this because he's just him.
Kids will try this at home.
I mean, you could try it at home. Just remember that you're not Tegvir. Across the Skies is ready though. Maybe looking for a steal.
Gold Fury's being dropped slowly but surely. 1,000 health now. Looking for a steal. Ragnarok able to stun it away. Huge. He's able to get that Gold Fury in pocket for his team. He might be losing his life. Wind Sprite over. Is he going to be able to find his way out? Dashes left and right. Tegvir catches up. Looking for the final bit of damage. Chasing him into the Titan room. He's not able to get away. Tegvir really wanted that kill. A bit of revenge for that fallen Gold Fury. But Charlie, they still got life.
He said, no, you don't get away with that one for free. Put him in the ground, but man, Inbound is okay with that trade. In fact, he was so okay with that, he was telling his team to let him die. I don't know if you saw it, but Cyclone actually finished his recall as Clocked In were jumping over the wall to chase Inbound. I know the comms were just, let me go, I'll live or I'll die, it doesn't matter. Now, Cherry Slush get an opportunity. Turn to the Fire Giant, and this is what I mean by they're never out of the game. They're always a team that can turn and try to go for any opportunity they have. One steal is all it takes. Now they got a Fire Giant.
Oh my God, they're back. They're back. The gold deficit has been minimized to 2,000. They're down a bunch of kills still, but it doesn't matter because the XP and the gold has jumped up tremendously for them. This could be the swing of a century. This could be the comeback for Cherry Slush.
And this is why, if you as a team are taking the Gold Fury and you see a dude show up, you don't 50-50 that. You just say, hey, guys, kill this guy, get this clown out of my face, get him out of my objective pit. And if you don't do that, you open yourself up to these possibilities where they jump in and they do get that steal off. Well, now what do? Your team has to reset. They burned a lot on the objective. Cherry Slush, okay, cool. We know that Clocked In's resetting. They're not going to go straight to Fire Giant. Let's pick it up for ourselves. Get yourselves back in this game. And all of a sudden, all the work that Clocked In has done in the 15 minutes up to this have been almost entirely negated. They've got one tower down for their efforts and tied on down in objectives, in fact.
Something I'm eyeballing right now, Phoenix Shield has just been picked up for Karmic. The power spike has been reached. This is where Karmic starts to really show up. Clocked In has already been up and well, looking alive throughout the game, but Karmic's here to join the fight, and Karmic is here to throw some hands. I mean, look at that. Phoenix Shield, Spirit Robe, Mystical Mail, and Eye of the Storm, too, is an interesting one that we haven't seen a whole lot of yet, but he can keep it going for a long time because he's got so much health to burn through, and all the regen is just able to give him back the health cost that Eye of the Storm costs.
Now this game is about to flip on its head. Gold has been minimized. Cherry Slush take a second tower for themselves. Karmic does answer back on that right side. And I like the fact you brought up this Phoenix Shield as well, because it's been so crucial in a lot of the Mordred successes we've seen today. The ability to just sustain through everything the enemy throws at you cannot be discounted. However, what I will say is it may not be as effective against Cherry Slush, because they are a team who's very effective at playing together and kind of forcing you to also be together. A lot of times the Mordred is able to kind of be that one-man armory. He's running around, he's just sustaining and trying to make sure that you're wasting time on him. There's a Fear No Evil to take into account here. Pursuit of the Weak actually decides, no, we don't want to go for Cherry. We're going to pull back, play this one smart and defensive.
Was that a tally right there from I don't know how they got out of the Hikatsuyo. Did it just not connect?
I believe it did not connect, and they stepped back into it after it was like already going off. So they're okay for now. Pyromancer is secured by Cherry Slush. They're just getting so much gold into their pockets right now. It's insane. Deathgate is popped.
Does good damage, but Karmic's still alive, and he's got plenty of healing to help him out from that bit of damage from Deathgaze. He's doing okay. All 5 members have clocked in, now surrounding the Gold Fury. Cherry Slush maybe want to contest here. Inbound might have another steal strategy up his sleeve. Let's see. 6,000 health going down to 5. It's burning quick. 4 to 3 to 2. And Ragnarok's out. He's looking for Happen. He's able to get him down, but they dropped the Gold Fury. It's still getting burned, though. AoE damage burning it down. They now drop the Fury, now focused on the fight. Benny Q takes down Happen and charging in deep. Inbound wants to set something up. Where is he going to find it? Benny Q takes down Karmic. 2 bodies down for Clocked In. Looking for a third. Scream dives deep. Finds Tekvir. Looking for a fourth. Chasing around the corner. Are they going to be able to find SpongeBob here? Diving out. Chasing deep. Finds the wrap. Inbound takes down SpongeBob. 4 bodies on the floor looking for a fifth. Couldn't quite find it. Paul makes it back to the Titan room, and Cherry Slush are up. They are now looking at this Phoenix here on the duo side. Pyrobomb is out. Inbound's tanking it away, and it looks like it's going to fall. Paul's back up, though. He's got full health, full mana, and a whole lot of abilities to sling through. Cycling out damage. Is he going to be able to find Cherry here? Maybe not. Flickers over the wall, finds Cherry. That's 1. Happen looks for the stun. Found the stun. Gets maybe another. Scream's getting chased away. Uses the portal, but he's out of there.
Double. Man, and this is all done without Cyclone present. Benny in a bad spot. Gonna be a triple kill for Paul. Walking him down with Happen. But man, this is what we mean. Cherry Slush is such a patient team. They don't care if they're down 6,000 gold. They will wait for their opportunity. And Inbound created that opportunity for them to come back in. And he does it again at this Gold Fury. We see him go forward. And this time Clocked In backs off. They say, okay, we know this team is coming. Let's drop the Gold Fury and force them to do something. We see the Ragnarok come out, but then they stay backed out. And they let Happen get taken forward, probably waiting for that Fear No Evil to come down, which does eventually happen. But because they back so far off, they allow all of Cherry Slush to come forward. Now looking at the Fire Giant, should be a nice easy pickup for them. And now the tables, once again, they flip the script. Cherry Slush wins that last fight because they have that Fire Giant. Sure, they're a little bit down in the gold department, but the Fire Giant was making up for that. Now, they have to take a reset, lose too many members off the back end thanks to Paul, and maybe a bit too aggressive play trying to get that Phoenix without your ADC. And it now leads to a situation where, Clocked In, they're down, but they're certainly not out, and they're in a position to make proactive plays. And Gold Fury is still up.
We talked about this in the picks and bans phase. We talked about it in the early game, and we're talking about it yet again. The flip-flop will continue to happen. Both of these teams are neck and neck at the 22-minute mark. Is Clocked In, hover around the Gold Fury, and Cherry Slush looking to even things out with a Pyromancer pickup. Another Pyrobomb could ensure that they find a second Phoenix should they find the opportunity, but Gold Fury going to the pockets of Clocked In is surely going to help their siege potential as well.
This is a game that makes you wish it was a best of 3. right?
Right.
Because these teams are so close to each other. They're putting in so much work throughout everything. And it could just be a coin flip at this point. Split the map. You got teams on either side looking to take down tier 2 towers. Gonna be faster for Cherry Slush due to the presence of fire minions on that left side.
Wait a minute, don't fall for the distraction. Don't fall for it. Pushing in hard here. Cherry Slush moving past the Phoenix, looking for a pick here, but Apollo has made it in. They're going to go for the Titan. Is this a split push? Oh my god, everybody's distracted by the Phoenix. Fear No Evil's out. They're going to end the game. They split push around. No. They found it out of nowhere. Oh my god, Scream is going to end things off, and out of nowhere, Cherry Slush locked this in.
Oh man, and that's what I mean, Mort. That's what I mean. They just cannot be stopped. You take too much time on that left side. You're contesting against the fire minions that Cherry Slush set up by taking down that Phoenix. And ultimately, it's the play that wins them the game. Because sure, you got 4 people over there. You still have to work through those enhanced health bars. You still have to work through the fact that they do a little bit more damage to your minions. And it's just too much time. They're not able to trade off that Phoenix. And I mean, Cherry Slush just realized, hey, wait. The Phoenix is still down. We don't need this. We don't need this right side. Just walk in, guys. Just walk in, and they just clean house.
I'm speechless. And we thought it was 4 over there from Cherry Slush running it down solo, and then Apollo across the skies dives in. And oh my gosh, I thought it was going to be a bit of a base racer. I didn't know it was going to end like that. It ended so quick, and just like you said, those fire minions stopped the push, and Cherry Slush was able to just run it in. I mean, it looked so easy. It looked so smooth. It felt flawless. There was nobody there to stop them. The pressure was great. Mordred tried for a distraction, but couldn't exactly find it. And oh man, they had it in the bag. Look, you could see it right here, clocked in, farmed Benny Q for 10 minutes practically.
Yeah, I want to point out, he was 1-3 for a good while. Cyclone is holding down this left side, but they were doing so much work from clocked in to just try to keep Cherry Slush down in the mid and the right side. They didn't have enough to bring Cyclone down. He scales up, Scream scales up, never fell behind. This is the play right here. This is where the game turned around. Inbound. Clutches up so hard for his team. Grabs happen, gets his thunder off, and it's just over from that point. Cherry Slush accelerate from this play into their winning position.
Oh my goodness, that's
mad
really weird. Yeah, if I was Techfear, I'd be mad too, because he's gonna go for it again. And it looks great. I mean, they all drop the Fury. The fight goes crazy here. Cherry Slush ends up dominating. Clocked in, thought they could sneak this, and what looked like a steal ended up in a full-fledged fight and a damn near deicide for Cherry Slush. I mean, bodies dropping all over the floor. Scream goes hard. Just great stuff. And right when you think Agnes going to get away, look at the Anubis wrap. Boom! Locked in. Just awesome stuff.
And Benny Q, tenacious player, 1-3 for the majority of that game. In that quick succession, clutches things back up, brings himself back to even. Doesn't quite end the game even. But this team is just somewhat a team that cannot be kept down. You can never count them out, even if you are building a lead. You have to play so disciplined around them. And this right here was the lack of discipline. This was the idea that we can just ignore 5 people because we have 2 people trying to defend. Sure, Techfear was running the game. But in those last few moments of the game, he fell behind. He didn't have as much XP as Scream did. And the fact is, the Crit Susano isn't going to be able to hold the line alongside your Cerberus. That's just not going to happen. And they pay the price for it. Wow, just wow. I mean, I am shocked by how that went down. It is awesome to see. It really is. That's gaming. This is Smite 2 right here. Just when you think you've got it locked in, you go for a push. You maybe have a scenario set up in place, but look at them just flanking around and making this happen. It's awesome to see. What's crazy is how low the player damage is, like, across the board, because the fights were so quick and explosive. They weren't those dragged out fights that you saw in the earlier games where the Mordred is running around, he's just farming damage numbers, and people farming damage numbers on him. These teams were very decisive in their plays. across the board, Tegvir goes in, somebody is dying. We're blowing them up. And the communication was so good between everyone that when we are starting those fights, everyone is doing the damage immediately onto them, and that's why it's so spread out here. And it just works out so well.
Well, even though it felt like a finals game, that wasn't the finals. We've got more Smite Prime to go, but before we go, we're going to hit the brakes and take a quick stop. That being said, we will be back, so don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody. We are back with Smite Prime. This is Morty on the mic, joined here by Testai the Prod God and Red Rosie Panda. We've got General Jithens behind the curtain, and right next to me here in the booth is none other than Spooky Mars. Give me a vibe check, Spooky.
You know, I noticed we have nicknames for... You know, we've got nicknames for Tess, we got nicknames for Jithens. Rosie and I don't have nicknames, Mort. What's going on with that?
Lack of creativity, not a lot of brain power going up here. I'm using all of it just to look good on the webcam and speak words into the microphone. I'll get to cooking. Come next introduction for the finals, I believe. I should have something for y'all.
All right, well, I'm gonna hold you to that. As for the vibe check, they've improved now after you've explained yourself a little bit here. I mean, the last game was a banger. Let's not mince any words here. What a comeback from Cherry Slush, down 6,000 gold to just walking into the enemy base and ending it because they caught their enemy lacking, trying to push down left side Phoenix. Why not just go for it? And we've got more action coming up, plenty more teams who want to contest against Cherry Slush, and Cherry Slush themselves want to find their way to a final spot. They got to get through one more game before they can do that, though.
In this next game, let's take a look at the brackets as we talk about this.
It.
The next game we're going to be looking at is the Bakery versus Evolutions here in the semifinals. Meanwhile, on the other side, Bible Study and Cherry Slush will clash once again. But wow, talk about a setup. I mean, look at this bracket overall. We have seen some bangers of games go through so far, and to make it to this point makes me excited for what's going to come next.
I mean, we've seen some fantastic games throughout the day already. I do have to ask you, Mort, who's your favorite Evolution?
I think Umbreon might be up there. Oh, no. Vaporeon? I'm not going to lie. I'm not too big on Eevee.
Okay. One, that's a sus answer. Two, I was talking about the team. You know, the Evolution's the team.
Right.
Yeah, so who's your favorite Evolution?
Is that
on
like,
the
are
roster
you
of the
referring
Evolutions?
like player?
Yes. What else would I be talking about?
Absolutely Snooze every single day of the week. Snooze is one of the best solo laners out there. I think he's a sleeper. I really think he is. We talk about Cherry, we talk about Karmic, and I keep it low key because I don't want to get judged in front of my friends. But honestly, I think Snooze is up there in that conversation for just phenomenal gameplay overall. Great mechanics, a huge god pool, can flex around and just do whatever is comfortable. I mean, I think he's definitely in that conversation as one of the ghosts. But I got to put some respect on Killcam Kenny. Great player as well. Drunk Diplomat, definitely a known name throughout the amateur leagues, and making his way into Smite Prime is great for him.
Oh, mine's Espeon, personally. Kind of weird that you have a favorite player. You're supposed to be unbiased here, Mort.
Do y'all hear this? Smite Game Chat. He's like this all the time.
I have to report you to the general.
He is like this all the time. It is just... It's irritable. I don't know. I don't know how to go through with this. It's every single cast that we do together, even behind the scenes, he's always like this.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is... I think you're a little too judgmental, a little too harsh. We have so much Smite to look forward to, and you're out here being grumpy. I mean, we get to watch Killcam Kenny, Snooze, and you're over here pouting. What's going on?
Okay. I'm excited to see Snooze. I'm gonna keep the vibes high here. Snooze is playing, and I get to see it on Smite Prime for the first time. This is humongous, and Snooze is known for the Cerberus solo. That's where I've always seen him perform the best. And let's see if he locks it in. Let's get into picks and bans and dive on in.
Be interesting to see if we get some respect bans paid towards it. Cerberus is a hard character to ban, in my opinion. There's so many other characters that are just so strong in the meta right now that putting a respect ban towards something like the Cerberus kind of feels bad and like just a win for Snooze in that regard.
Yeah.
we'll see how they decide to take things. Bakery do get the first ban. Kind of expect to see more of those jungle bans. They've been prevalent throughout the day. We've seen Aladdin go out. We've seen Fenrir's get banned. We've seen Thor's get banned. We've seen the Kali's get through quite frequently. And in fact, I don't think we've seen a Kali ban so far today, which means she's been picked up almost every single time. To mixed success, admittedly, but you might be able to say it's a player difference in some cases. Mordred instead, going to be looked at, who's been very prevalent throughout the day as well. Hard to kill, very good at laning. Just don't want to deal with him.
That's a smart one. That's a fair one. I think that Mordred just causes a lot of problems. He takes a lot of specific counterplay to go up against. I low-key thought it was going to be nice if Snooze would have picked up the Serb against the Mordred. I think that all the healing that Mordred's known for, Serb counters that away and takes it as his own. So Phoenix Shield kind of becomes your own item. You kind of get 7 items like that, not including your starter. You know what I mean?
This is definitely some interesting bans here. I don't know if I agree with a 7th item, but I respect where you're coming from, Mort. Aladdin is not a surprise. The other 3 bans are a surprise. We haven't seen a lot of them, Morgan. She can cause some problems. The Changeling is very powerful. If you don't want to deal with the burst from stealth, understandable. But the Amir, also a little bit shocking to see that one be taken away. Clearly, that is a respect ban in my eyes towards Kill Cam Kenny. Just saying, this guy's got a good Ymir. I don't want to deal with it. Let's pick the Ares and try to make him play something that doesn't play super well into that. Bacchus on the table, doesn't really enjoy getting crippled. Instead, we look at Agni and Hercules. Likely to see an ADC, and could be a solo or a jungler here. Time will tell.
This could be Snooze going back to his roots and picking up Hercules solo, which was definitely a popular one at some points, and Herc even stronger than he was in Smite 1 by a long shot. Now he's got a knock up on Excavate. He's got a lot to love as far as strength scaling. Definitely very favorable solo laner, but also the high strength scaling leads to him being a great jungler. So we could see this from Snyx. A great pickup for the jungle as well. But Ares locked in along with Kali and Athena. This is a powerful one right here. Part of me thinks that Leo is going to be taking that Athena into solo.
I wouldn't hate that. There is a world, I've said it before, where we could see Athena jungle, Kali ADC. Don't know if that's what we want to see necessarily, but it does exist. I do like the Athena pickup, especially with the Ares and the Kali. I think that's a lot of team cohesion there. The taunts are super powerful. If you can bring someone back into that Kali and make it stick just a little bit more, or make someone burn their beads so the Kali can then jump in after they've tried to run away, stun them down, pick up the kill, nice and easy. Don't lock that in. Don't do that to me.
Come on. I like to have fun in this game. Please don't be the counter fun god. No, Aphrodite for the first time gets locked in for Evolutions. For the first time, Spooky Mars doesn't have a smile on his face. He's usually a pretty happy guy, but looking at Aphrodite, I kind of feel the same way. This is like the least fun god in Smite 2, aside from maybe Nuwa. It's definitely a contender up there, but okay.
Normally, I have a lot of respect for Kill Cam Kenny. I like the guy. Played with him a few times. Great fun.
You name
right now, dead to me. You do not exist within my vision. I don't even want to talk about it. We've got a Zeus to talk about instead. We've got the Agni and the Zeus on the same side. This is a lot of magic damage coming out from Evolutions. Either one of these could go mid or ADC. I'm leaning towards Agni in the duo lane. See Zeus in the mid lane. A little bit shorter lane. Less distance to cover to get back to the safety of your tower that way.
Yeah.
Thor rounding this draft out brings some physical damage in, but my concern is how much magical damage the Evolutions have right now. Now, this is a draft we've seen before a few times. It has worked very well, but it is a lot easier to counter build against, especially when you're looking at the Bakery who have Ares and Athena on their side. Love just building some prots. It's going to be tougher for Athena if she is against that Hercules, which appears to be the case with Thor being locked in here, but we've seen those two switch roles before.
So we've got 10 gods on the field here, Spooky Mars. 5 on 5. If you were a betting man, where are you putting your money?
The team that has 5 gods instead of 4, because we don't acknowledge Aphrodite's existence. The Bakery certainly has the advantage there, but man, they're going to have to build some anti-heal. This has been something we've kind of harped on throughout the day. It's crucial at this point to have anti-heal built in the items. If they don't have that, I think Evolutions do have just a generally well-rounded draft that I think the Bakery does have potential to struggle to get into. Agni and Zeus can sit very far back. If they have an Aphrodite linked up to either one of them, it can be very difficult to kill them. With Thor and Hercules running the front line, there's a lot of displacement, a lot of CC to worry about. And I do slightly favor that draft.
There's a lot of anti-heal that is needed on both sides. I mean, Kali's got healing, so does Fenrir with Lifesteal. Especially Fenrir Aspect will give Lifesteal to the team. And then Neith with Unravel has a lot of healing for herself, but also in Evolutions. We've got Hercules to mitigate wounds. It's going to give himself some health. And the god that shall not be named has healing as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit from maybe the Agni, Devos, or some type of Lifesteal for Agni. I expect 2 Ruinous, I expect 2 Divine Ruins. Based on the earlier sets today, for those of you who've been sticking around, y'all know how I feel about anti-heal, and I definitely think in any game so far, this is the one where it's most necessary.
Yeah, Morty, very notably not an anti-heal enjoyer, has not been really too high on it, so it's good to see him kind of change his opinion up here in a situation where it seems so crucial.
Let's throw the game. I don't want to acknowledge that. Let's throw the game, and let's hope to see some anti-heal. I'll repeat it again. I want to see, regardless of what Spooky Mars has just said, I hope to see anti-heal on both sides of the ball here.
Well, it's actually the battlefield. It's flat, not a ball.
Okay. All right, that's great.
Yeah, you're thinking of the globe right now.
Yeah, I am thinking of the globe.
Well, stop thinking about the globe. Start thinking about Smite, because we got a Smite game in front of us here, Mort. It is kind of expected what we see here. It is a switch up on the solo and the jungle. It is Snyx taking the Hercules into that jungle. Not too surprising. We've seen the Hercules be pretty popular in this role. He has a lot of early game damage, a lot of CC and displacement to really make those ganks work very effectively. Whereas Snoozism just takes the Thor aspect. He's going to be a little bit tankier, going to be able to trade blows with those enhanced basic attacks against this Athena, piloted, as you mentioned, by Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of everything falling into place as we expected it to be.
All the pieces of the puzzle are coming together for both sides here. I mean, great team comps on both ends. You've got Beads pulls from the No Escape, and then lets Ragnarok go crazy. Also, Donut Doug might be forcing an Aegis. It did not force an Aegis, but, Kali definitely you want some immunity from. But instead, we see 3 Bs on the side of Evolutions to try and get away. Meanwhile, I see a lot of objective secure. 2 Sunders on the side of the Bakery. I think they're going to be looking to play objective and play hard on it.
Valo already starting things off with an early invade onto the red buff. Maybe taking the Cyclopses as well. Unless Snyx decides to catch him, does driving strike him right into the wall. Should secure those Cyclops. Valo might be in a bad spot here.
He's healing away with the potions, though. 200 health, going up to 3 now.
Fine.
Driving strike is all he has left to chase him down. But Valo making his way back to his own jungle. Going to get some camps and then just continue the farming game. He got a bit of XP out of that. But now, here comes Hercules. Level 2, set up with the driving strike, followed by the knockup. Are they going to be able to find the kill on Moswall to secure first blood? No, they're not. Unravel puts a little more health in the pockets of Moswall and feeling just fine.
Basic attacks missing means there's no detonate charge to really clutch up that kill. One thing we haven't talked about is Donut Doug, who did decide to take this Kali into the ADC. We talked about the potential of it, but now we're actually seeing it for the first time today. We've mentioned its possibility, I think, 3 times so far. It's the first time it's come through. I don't dislike it here. I do think it might struggle a little bit into this draft specifically, because you're going up against that Aphrodite. So it's going to be tough to lock down those kills. Valo, what are you doing, man? This doesn't belong to you.
This guy wants to invade so bad. He's willing to risk his life for it. He wasn't able to find a steal yet. He goes back to base empty-handed, but he's still level 3. He's still on pace with Hercules, more or less. He's not able to... Oh, he does get an item when he goes back. A tier 1. Looks like a bow of some sort, a bit of attack speed, and that's definitely beneficial considering this is probably going to be a basic attack focused Valo. He's going to try and get a Tear Fang, maybe Braggy's Harp, and just melt health bars by swinging those claws away.
Yeah, and Valo actually did hit level 3 before Snick, so was able to find a little bit of value in those invades. Did get both red buffs for his team. One thing we've seen a lot of from the Fenrir is kind of this hybrid build where you go into those basic attack yellow numbers early on in your build because, one, your kit just has the base damage to be extremely effective without having to focus on it. Two, yellow numbers kind of go crazy when you pop the Howl. And then three, you can just transition into a tank build later on as the game goes because the Fenrir kit does fall off. But if you're still able to get in there and soak up damage and put a little bit into the enemy team, grab someone, pull them back, you're still doing everything that this Fenrir needs to do. Right now, what he needs to do is force Eevee back under that tower. Yeah, you gotta be careful there. Don't step up to this wave. Moswell's right here, bro.
Come on, you can get the wave. It's okay, but driving strike around the corner puts Neith in an awful position. Backflip out straight to safety. And going to be A-okay in this trade-off. There's still definitely a lot of healing for Moswell. Unravel just does wonders. Look at this. Boom. Quarter health.
And Neith really benefits so much from Smite 2. She's been so prevalent, specifically in this mid lane. Smite 1, you know, you saw some Neith mids coming through, but she didn't have access to, like, the good items that she has access to now. Being able to build those int items just pushes her so far forward in this meta, allows her to do so much more. The CC buffering as well really allows backflip to be a lot more effective, flipping over player-made walls, getting out of danger. She's in such a great spot, and it's hard to really keep her down. Eevee, gonna struggle a little bit, I think, into Moswell here, just because she's able to do so much. Burst damage has a lot more CC than the Zeus has. He really has to be careful on how he's stacking things up to make sure he's not caught in a bad spot into an Unravel or a Spirit Arrow.
You know, it's funny you mentioned the Neith mid because I feel like at the end of the Smite 1 life cycle, we did see a lot of hunters in the mid lane. Definitely Chiron and AMC, Martikaris, and Neith especially, all benefiting from those heavy strength items towards the end. And it's kind of wild to see how it turns around in Smite 2. It makes me excited to see some of those gods that aren't Neith but also played in the mid lane move their way into Smite 2. Ganking over to solo, Thor's in the air. Is he going to clap back down and look for a double kill, or does he go to safety? He looks for the safe option. I can't blame him.
You know, we got a little bit of a quiet moment here, so I'm going to go on a soapbox here. I think Aspect Neith is actually a little bit underrated. I think we've seen so much Neith mid that people have kind of forgotten that she has that aspect and can still be a very effective hunter. And granted, that's partially because you have things like Agni, who can just go into the duo lane and be like, haha, funny damage numbers, tee-hee. But I do wish we could see more of that Neith back in the duo lane as well, because she does have a pretty good steroid when you come in with the aspect, and there's a lot of value to be had there. Is it better than just straight up one-shotting people with World Weaver from across the map? Okay, you got me. Probably not, but I still want to see more of it.
You know what a lot of people forget about too is World Weaver, Neith's ult. After you hit an enemy god with it, you automatically get full stacks on your passive. So your attack speed is at the maximum. With Aspect, that's 6 stacks. And it is just a tremendous amount of attack speed that you gain from that aspect. So you fire off World Weaver to start a fight, and you start hammering out basic attacks. You can really get some damage off. Look at Valo jumping in here, looking for the Ragnarok. Going to be able to find it straight into Neith, burst it down quick, and Valo is going to be securing first blood for the bakery.
Leo coming on over, making sure that that lightning strike or lightning storm doesn't do too much to Valo there. Able to secure a nice, easy kill. That's the first blood in this game, but take a look at the charts there. We still have a bakery lead. It's been progressing slowly and quietly, and it's because Valo is making so many aggressive plays through the jungle. He's making another one here, looking for a potential gank, instead focused on this purple buff, right on timer. And you have to ask yourself, where's the Evolution's jungler? He's on the rotation, but he's going to be late.
A little bit late, which means that Valo is going to secure that purple buff easy peasy. Running straight into Hercules, though, driving strike into the team. Lovebirds doing some damage. Excavate bounces off the wall and just lands on Aurora's face. That kind of sucks for him, doesn't it? No escapes out, looking for a pull, but gets cleansed away by Killcam Kenny. Jumping in hard here. Donut Doug wants to fight this. He really does. And here comes Fenrir from around the corner. You didn't expect him sitting there. Donut Doug finds a kill. Aurora finds another. Looking for a third. Killcam Kenny very low on health. Callie's able to find the mark. Double kill for Donut Doug and 3 kills in total for the bakery.
Now, you saw just how effective Donut Duck can be on this Kali right there in that instance. Able to get the reset off of the first kill, puts himself nice and healthy for the rest of the fight, and all of a sudden, what was a pretty good fight for Evolutions became quickly stacked against them off of that health reset.
Yeah.
Donut Doug, highly proficient Hunter player. If you can land these basics, I mean, they come out so quick, because it's important to note, when you take the aspect, you do not lose the hit chain that Kali has. So it's still the one quick next to, and then the next one follows that normal speed. Oh dear, you just can't be there, unfortunately for you. That's not your jungle to take, my friend.
Look at that damage from Aurora right now. One thing I do want to bring up is earlier, in last matchup specifically, we talked about how Inbound and Happen are two of the best support players out there. I did forget a couple names. I forgot Speak No Evil. I would put Killcam Kenny there if we weren't talking about Afro support right now. But Aurora, most definitely belonging in that conversation of top 5 supports of all time. I want to bring up Genetics too, but he's not even playing Smite right now. So, I'm going to leave that one to the curb for now. I'll fight it when he gets back on the game. But, man, Aurora is just a phenomenal player, especially with this Ares. He's definitely right at home. Player damage numbers. Look, he's at the top of the ranks right now, and he's playing hard here. No escapes out, looking for a pull, but it gets cleansed through thanks to the tally. But getting knocked up and pulled away, Donut Doug has nowhere to go. Somersaulting out. Is he going to find a wealthy escape plan? I don't know. Here comes reinforcements. Valo's here. Donut Doug still on the retreat. Is he going to be able to get out of there? Meanwhile, focus on to Snicks. Is he going to be able to get out of there? Valo takes him down. Donut Doug hits the grave, though. One body down on each side. Eye of Storm locks him down, and the fight's erupting here in duo. Everybody's here.
Moswell.
It's like the Smash Bros. Roster. Eevee getting kills here. Moswell finds 2, 4 bodies down for Evolutions. Is this going to be a 10-minute deicide? Not so sure. Eevee makes it back to the tier 1 tower over here in duo lane, but lurking around the corner. Look at this. Maybe looking for a pick. He's able to make it back to base. Zeus gets out. 4 kills for the Bakery, and now Gold Fury scotch-free.
Very easy Gold Fury to call here. Moswell comes in at the end of that fight so good on the timing. Just obliterates the health bars. I want to shout out Donut Doug there. He had no business surviving as long as he did. And the way that he pathed drew Evolutions first away from his team, so they had to spend more cooldowns on him. And he pathed back towards the rest of his team as he was running low, which drew the Evolutions all the way in. And all of a sudden, they're running to 4 people that they weren't prepared for. Moswell comes around the top side, blasts them in the back as they're trying to make an escape. It was so well executed from the Bakery as a whole. It leads to a significant advantage in this game. 6 kills up, 4,000 gold ahead at a 10.5-minute mark is no small matter. The Evolutions aren't out of the game. We've seen bigger comebacks. But something got to be very careful of, and they really got to find a way to slow Valo down in this jungle, because he's kind of the one making everything erupt the way it is right now.
Part of me doesn't want to even get too invested in this early game, because of what we saw from Cherry Slush earlier, how they were able to just swing things back out of nowhere. It makes me wonder, is this really going to be that big of a snowball as it appears to be? Regardless, they're going to keep gunning forward. Evolution's up on kills, but the Bakery looking to even things out. The Bakery chasing down Killcam Kenny. Valo finds Snooze over in solo. They were looking for a kill in duo as well. Aurora takes down Killcam Kenny. 10 kills on the board for the Bakery. No escape. Maybe looking for an 11th. Waiting on reinforcements to arrive. Neast on the way from middle lane. Mosball has a lot of damage, but not able to get there in the nick of time. It's all right. Find some neutral farm. You still found a kill. 2 kills if you want to count Snooze and solo. Bakery stocks are up.
Man, the execution is just being so good from the Bakery. They're going to go ahead and turn on to Drunk Diplomat, who has no way out of this one. He is just dead. That is crazy. Shackles. Just make sure he can't get out of there. But the patience from the Bakery there. First from Leo, as they come crashing in, waits for the Undying Love to come out, tries to get Killcam Kenny away from danger. Then he goes for it. Then he uses the taunt to pull him back in, knowing there's no way for him to escape from it after that. Killcam Kenny tries to even run around. It doesn't work, obviously. Too low health for that one to go well. But even Aurora, as Snicks is coming in, drops the no escape very early just for the CC immunity to make sure he doesn't get driving strikes, he doesn't get the pluck going off. And then sidesteps so well. Now looking to collapse again. Aurora doesn't have a no escape, but he does have shackles. He's got flames, and he's got Moswell out of dodge.
Looking at the 12.5-minute mark, 11 kills on the board for the Bakery. Evolutions have 2. This is good. The Bakery is definitely investing in a strong early game as they look to take down and get these crystalline eggs from the Queen Naga. They're able to take it. It is secured. Thor has to jump up in the air. He's still crippled in the air. Look at the chain. They're standing all the way up there, but he's able to get on out. Ragnarok used to get Valo to safety, but I don't think Aurora has that same promise. He is surrounded by 4 members of Evolutions. No escape, and the shield from Athena follows. He's getting out of the lightning storm. Here comes Leo, looking to make this fight go crazy.
There's so much trust there. Leo has to dodge back out, but Eevee very low.
How are we going to get out of this? How are we going to make this fight work out? No escape. Couldn't really promise anything, but diving on in. Uh-oh. Look at the driving stripe. Going to be pulling Valo. He found a kill on Styx before hitting the grave. Donut Doug finds a double. Drunk Diplomat in the grave. Leo diving into the tower. Donut Doug finds the triple. 4 bodies on the floor. Evolutions is down. The Bakery is up.
Who needs 2 kills when you can have 3? So much space created for Donut Doug in that fight. Amazing. Again, coming out from Aurora there. Goes on forward, gets Moswell out of danger, turns the attention back on himself. And Moswell, for his part, too, I don't want to discredit this guy because I feel like I haven't said his name quite as much as maybe I should have so far. Plays that corner so effectively. Sees Aurora trying to retreat. He doesn't go back to his tower. No, he loops up and hides around the Harpy wall so that he can fire off the Unravel, slow the enemies down, fire off a Spirit Arrow. Doesn't quite connect with what he was looking for there, but then he just backflips out and gets back to his tower that way. And Aurora shows how much trust and communication there is between this team. Because he pops to No Escape looking, I need CC immunity. I need to get back to my tower. Elio says, no man, go in. I've got the Defender of Olympus. And he says, all right, bet. I'm in there. And it just flips the entire fight around. And Moswell positions himself so well throughout the entire thing to not get touched. Donut Doug, on the other hand, says, I don't care if these guys hit me, because I know my team's going to bring these death targets low enough that I'm going to reset off of it, and we're going to steamroll through it.
You know what I think that really results from? That trust. You talked about how Athena's calling for Valo to go in, and Valo goes in. That is trust, and that is a result of the Bakery being one of the few teams where the team is sticking together through and through each week throughout all the circuits that Smite Prime has had so far. They have had little to no roster changes. Some of these names have been participating in Smite Prime for a while, but have been moving from team to team. For example, Benny Q just came back. Bobby's moved around from a couple different teams, but now the Bakery has been the only one really to stick through and through to the end, and that trust is developed, and that's what lets these plays happen. Speaking of play, there's one happening in solo. Excavate comes out, hits the knockup on Leo. Looking for more to happen. Decent damage on both sides, but reinforcements have arrived. Eevee looking for the lightning storm. It's going to send Athena out. Leo looking to teleport to Aurora, but couldn't quite get out. Gets melted beforehand. Charging on in. Circa's used aggressively from Eevee. Eye of the Storm looking to lock some bodies down, but Baker has reinforcements. Moswell damage is huge. Takes one body down, looking for another, and this fight has been swapped up yet again. Eevee's full health. Aurora's looking for a cripple. Can he find it? Can he slow down the enemy? Nope, they're going to rush on out of there. Moswell backflipping in.
Yeah.
He's not done chasing. Spirit Arrow hits. He's one Unravel away. Is he going to be able to find it? Maybe another backflip is going to be what it takes. Moswell's about to have the ult online. Spirit Arrow takes down kill cam. Kenny. Oh, my God. Kenny's on the kill cam. Ragnarok is trying to pull for another. Valo's just looking to fight anyone who looks at him funny. 2 bodies on the floor for Evolution. Snooze is coming back up in just a moment, and now they're gunning for the Phoenix, surrounding it. Are they going to go for the push? Do they wait for a later objective? I don't know. This team is kind of out of sync. It doesn't matter. They're killing everyone they look at. The Bakery is up big.
Now, that is crazy coming out from Moswell and Aurora over there. I mean, you could see like the idea behind it. Leo was trying to survive, trying to get back to Aurora. Good damage from Evolutions, good focus. But they should have taken their one and been done. Instead, they move on forward. Snooze gets taken out by Moswell's huge rotation, playing off the No Escape, because he so effectively does not show himself until that No Escape has been popped. The chains are already connected on people. All of a sudden, you're thinking, oh, man, Moswell's here? I guess we're cooked. I appreciate Killcam Kenny kind of being that sacrificial lamb to allow the rest of his team to retreat. But even that doesn't feel like it did a lot for the Evolutions because the lead has only extended. Moswell walks down the entire length of the lane. And on one hand, you're thinking there's still 3 people. Maybe we should just try to kill the 2. On the other hand, those aren't full health bars, so they probably just get one-tapped by Moswell.
Oh, man. Leo trying to get a bit of slap boxing in from Snooze, but I doubt it results in anything. I think what was really funny about that was Killcam Kenny's on the run, and here's the backflip and goes, whew, and then you continue to hear those high heel footsteps, and you go, gulp, and just Spirit Arrow mollywops your health bar. It was just incredible to see what Moswell put out there.
And now the game very heavily favoring the Bakery. This is a massive lead that they have. They haven't even taken a Fire Giant just yet. It's still on the board. 18 minutes in, certainly something to be looking at this point. But Gold Fury's also coming up. So the Bakery now gets the choice. Do we give over the first Gold Fury to Evolutions, or do we make a play for the Fire Giant? Probably easier for them to take that Gold Fury, because the Evolutions don't really have a ton of burn ready. Sure, they do have, you know, Zeus and an Agni, but these guys are falling pretty far behind. Look at the XP deficits. Eevee and Drunk Diplomat are 16 and 14 against 18 and 19. They don't burn through these objectives nearly fast enough, so the Bakery makes an easy choice to go for this Gold Fury, burn it down. Evolutions cannot do anything on the Fire Giant in this time, and now they can get both objectives they want to. Third Fury down, Ancient gonna be up next.
And the team spread out a little bit, looking to farm up a little bit more before going for this Fire Giant. Maybe looking for another pick could be the move before they start a big objective like Fire. That could be the move to try and get this end game going, because the Bakery needs to go from hammering nail after nail into the coffin to just sealing it shut.
Do you think Killcam Kenny realized he doubled up on anti-heal there?
It stacks, I believe. I'm like 73.4% sure that it stacks, so I think it's good.
You already got it. You got the Ruinous Ankh. You got Eevee with anti-heal. I don't know that Killcam Kenny needs to double up on the item here, but instead, they're not going to get an opportunity to even think about it. Bakery turn their eyes over towards the Fire Giant, and no surprise that Evolutions do not show their face here. You can't contest this one. You just die if you go there. They haven't taken your Phoenixes yet. Your best bet is to try to slow things down. Lightning Storm gets used, and Valo doesn't even blink. I mean, these guys are just so far ahead right now. They can kind of just walk through damage, and they don't really care. If they're stacked up 5 strong, Evolutions are hard-pressed to find an answer to this. They're going to heavily rely on displacement from Snicks, the walls from Snooze, and try to just stay mobile. This is a terrible situation for Eevee specifically.
3 members of the Bakery are in the middle lane. Athena's just a teleport away, but Moswell moving over to duo, maybe looking for a split push strategy. Beads utilized from Donut Doug to keep him from getting pulled by the driving strike. Great stuff. That's a good response from Donut Doug. That would have definitely been a huge consequence to not only lose Donut Doug's life and maybe cause a shutdown, but also lose that Fire Giant buff that would really benefit with the sieging potential here. But 3 Gold Furies in pocket for the Bakery means they have a lot of sieging potential. It's going to be pretty easy to clear through that Phoenix if they get an opportunity to do so. But looking for a pick. How does this fight start? Looking for a stun. Donut Doug gets poked down just a little bit. Not a lot of damage from Drunk Diplomat right now, though. Aurora surrounding, looking for an end to hit that no escape. He's into the Phoenix. He's going to find and pull 3. Tally's going to make sure that nobody gets pulled. Thor's in the air. Meanwhile, 2 members of the Bakery are going on that duo side Phoenix. He's going to move on over there. Thor realizes, hey, what's going on over here? Gets you caught red-handed. They're still going to get the Chaos Phoenix, though. I think this is good news. Bakery looking for an end, and I think they found it. Valo's in the Ragnarok, but it gets beads away. Athena shield going hard. Valo's allowed to keep going in. He jumps on in, finds 2, stuns both, and we're chasing hard here. Eevee is getting pushed hard. Where are we going to find the kills? Focus, 1 target, for goodness sake. But nobody gets taken down. 2 Phoenixes are the consequence for Evolution's defense, though. But the fight doesn't stop here. Looking for an in, looking for an engage. Uh-oh, Maswal takes down Kill Cam Kenny, looking for
jumping.
a second, diving in deep.
Oh, the
Valo
reset.
wants a third. Donut Doug gets one. Look at all the health gain. Oh my God. Now we surround the Titan and focus it down. Distraction coming in from Donut Doug. Look at this man go. Oh my God. The Titan takes down Aurora, but the Soul 3 members on top of it. 2,000 health. It's getting burned down quick. 1,000 health. Are they going to be able to take it down? It is going to fall. Donut Doug secures the Titan and the W for the Bakery.
I just want to point out, Donut Doug absolutely sold Aurora's life away there. If he had been focusing the Titan, Aurora does not die. And that is his only death of the game. So,
Yeah.
tisk, tisk, shame. At the end of the day, though, you keep your team alive, you get through everything, you take the Titan down. And what Donut Doug did may have looked like damage farming, but he was very effectively making sure the defense couldn't step out of that fountain. Keeping everyone restricted on what they could do so that none of that CC went towards the guys who were actually hitting the Titan. I mean, it's just that easy when you have that much of a lead. The four-man group in the mid lane, super easy thing to do, and I really like how Valo, rather than trying to force down the four-man with the Defender of Olympus to come over and gank people, just said, you know what, fine. They're going to be expecting that. Let's just go over with Leo, take down that left side Phoenix. They either respond or lose it, and if they respond, we take the mid lane Phoenix. This is exactly how it played out.
I wish I could say that there was a chance of comeback here, and I think that Evolution showed a good amount of life, but overall, the Bakery had this in check from the beginning. Look at the setup from Valo with the Ragnarok, who had incredible Ragnaroks all throughout the game. Valo was on top of it.
I mean, it's just been Valo kind of dictating the pace of the game. He's kind of the reason we see so many fights around this purple buff, and it's how the Bakery got such an early lead here. He was looking for the invades, his team was ready for it, and they had the aggression to answer what he was doing. Look at that. Look at this fight right here. This is the big one. Look at the map where Donut Doug is flipping around, looping under everybody to bring the rest of Evolutions back to his team where they just collapse in. Maswal comes in over the top, super easy, and it's just a clean sweep. Backflips over the backup and just easily cuts off the retreat path. It's just so clean.
It's incredible what Maswal was putting out here. I mean, might be the MVP for this game. Valo definitely a close contender as well. And Aurora setting up a lot of these kills in progress. It's hard to decide who was the number one contributor here. I mean, it was a lot of good stuff from the team in general.
I think a lot of credit goes to Aurora and Leo, who were driving a lot of this. Valo was the one getting those small leads early on, but Aurora and Leo were that front line that could kind of keep everything going until the backup came through. Because right here, this is the other big one, where Maswal just loops in, and Aurora just says, I know I can trust him to bring the damage that I need. That's disgusting.
Ugh. Just nasty. Look at that Maswal damage. Just huge numbers here as they finally emerge. This was a long song and dance around the Phoenixes. They slowly but surely chipped away at Phoenixes, got those, ended up finding a kill. Killcam Kenny was the first to die and just kind of snowballed from here. Look at Donut Doug just zoning away. Nobody can step up. Snooze has nothing to do but just try and go after Donut Doug. Meanwhile, the Titan's getting melted down, and it's another dub in the books.
Just fantastic team play coming out as a whole. And I think it kind of goes back to what you said earlier, Morty, where this is a team that's been playing together through every circuit. They have not been concerned with, oh, well, maybe we have an underperforming player. No, they each know that they can do very well, that the people around them can do very well, and they can bring out each other's strengths and cover their weaknesses. And they've just been getting so much better the more they play together. I'm really excited to see just how far this team can go. Not just in Smite Prime, but across the whole Smite 2 scene.
Speaking of the Smite 2 scene, there's one more game to watch for today. That was the semis, and the Bakery is making it there. One more match to watch, and it is the... What?
Look at those wards, dude. That's terrible.
Okay, you're criticizing the big dogs now? Is that what you're doing?
I'm just saying, one ward from Donut Doug. I mean, those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump those numbers up.
He doesn't need to ward. He kills everything he looks at. What are you worried about? This is Donut Doug we're
If you
talking about
ward,
here.
you can look at more things.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's take a quick break before the finals. They're gonna be all here if I let's here all day if Spooky Mars just goes off. So let's cut to break. We'll be back here in just a few. Hello, everybody. We are back with the finals of Week 1 in the June circuit of Smite Prime. This is Morty on the mic, joined here by the rigorous Red Rosie Panda and Testai, the Prod God. We've got General Jithens and basically Billy running behind the scenes, and right next to me here in the booth is the most haunted planet in the galaxy, Spooky Mars.
All right, so we did some cooking. I appreciate, Morty. You know what? You did good. I'll give that one a 10 out of 10. It really set the mood for this next game. And honestly, we've had a lot to build up to it. We've seen fantastic play throughout the day, but two teams have stood out, have they not, Morty? We now get to see those two teams face off. They both fought for their chance at the finals. We get to see it all here today. I couldn't be more excited. Magnificent, Morty.
Marvelous, Morty. Let's take a look and see what these two teams are fighting for. Let's take a look at the prizing and see what's on the line. It's $7,000 in cash prizing throughout the month of June and up to 125,000 diamonds. That's a whole lot of dinero there.
Bro, I could get Landshark Sobek with that.
You get a 1,000 Landshark Sobex. You could get 1,000 different Smurfs
what am I
and
gonna
give
do
them
with
all
Landshark Sobex?
An army of Landshark Sobex to march down the middle lane.
You imagine loading into a game and there's just 5 Landshark Sobex walking you down mid lane? You get hit by one pluck, you're all the way back at the enemy tower.
It's just a chain of plucks. It's like leapfrog. Can you imagine getting plucked from one end of the map to the other? How many Sobex would that take? I would really love if somebody could do this math and make a YouTube video about it. How many Sobex would it take to move somebody from one end of the map to the other? How many plucks?
At least 7.
Way more than 7.
You could do it with just 1.
No. What?
You could do it with just 1. You pluck him, he doesn't move from where he lands. You walk around, you pluck him, you move him again. You just keep plucking him.
Let's bring up the Spooky Mars. Let's bring up the bracket here. Take a look at how we got to this point here. Cherry Slush versus the Bakery in the finals. But before that, we watched the Bakery take a dub over Evolutions in the semis. Bible Study and Cherry Slush. I'm sure that was a banger. It's a shame that we had to miss that one. But finally, Cherry Slush makes their way to the finals, which is humongous. A lot of other good games that have happened so far. Backstep versus the Bakery was a banger to watch. Clocked in Cherry Slush was a great one. I mean, a lot of great teams that eventually made their way to a certain point, and some just couldn't find the mark. Others, 2 to be exact, Cherry Slush and the Bakery, found themselves in the finals.
It hasn't been the smoothest ride for Cherry Slush. And the one we did see, a little bit of a rocky performance from them, but were able to turn it into a smooth transition to a victory. Now going up against the Bakery, I mean, both these teams have shown to be very proficient. Cherry Slush winning from a deficit. The Bakery winning with one of the biggest leads we've seen today. I mean, that is a great combination to see up in your finals. And the question now becomes, does the Bakery have what it takes to create that same lead over Cherry Slush? And can they, more importantly, hang on to it?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to love on both sides of the ball here. The Bakery and Cherry Slush, 10 hard hitters, 5 on each side, and a lot to love about these players coming in.
You know, you keep talking about the ball. It is just a flat battleground. There's no up down on this one. There's no curvature on the map.
All right. I don't know what to say to that. It's a metaphor or an analogy.
Okay. Well, in that case, I understand.
I don't know the difference, to be honest with you.
That's all right. You'll get there eventually, more. I don't know the difference either. Like I said, did not go to school. So we just fake it till we make it. Hopefully, though, these teams have ideas on how to get there because they've got to come into this with a game plan. These are both teams that are very proficient in playing the way they want to play. And I'm very interested in seeing, very specifically, Valo against Scream, because they both felt so integral. Well, Scream normally feels integral to winning games. Last time we saw them, it was absolutely inbound. But Scream likes to play aggressive. He likes to look for those invades. Valo, we just saw, loves to play kind of the same way. So I'm interested to see if we see them clashing in the jungle, or if we just see them split the map between each other. One goes deep, the other goes deep on the other side, and we just take what we can get there.
Well, a lot of that entails what gods are being picked up.
That's true.
And we're only going to find that out in Picks and Bans. So let's make our way over.
I love picks and bans. Oh my god, look at that screen.
Why did you say that? Wow.
I love picks and bans. What do you mean? It's a great place to be. It's where, I say it so many times, it's where you see everything start to come together. You get the first ideas of how the teams want to play, what they have on their minds, how they consider and view their opponents. The picks and bans tells you so much about the game, and it also tells that Princess Bari will not be in the game. Good, get her out of here.
That's fair. That's a very fair point. I'm for those who are curious, I'm on a competitive team for Albion Giants League, and our my captain and also the production person working for us tonight for our technical director for Smite Prime right now, Test Die. They always tell me that 99% of games are won in picks and bans. That this is a very, very, very vital process when it comes to the game. And obviously what you're doing in game makes a whole lot of difference as well. But when it really comes down to brass tacks, there's a lot of competitiveness right here. Counter picks and matchups that you wouldn't even thought about. For example, earlier, how Mordred is crippled by Ares, so Ares can stop the healing from Mordred. Just little things like that you might not think about at first, but you get to thinking up there and you bring it in here, and that's what can really make a difference in games.
Just to clarify, you're on a team with Tezdai.
Correct.
My condolences, Tess. Sorry you have to deal with that. I
Crazy.
do like the bans coming out from the
Crazy
bakery
to
here.
say.
Thor and Kali both taken off the board. Focus on Scream. He's known to play these characters. He likes to get aggressive with them, so put him back on that Hoonbots. Now, we have seen he's already proficient with that, obviously, but it does mean his early game plays are more limited. That was what Clocked In tried to do to him, and it was fairly successful in building themselves a lead. They just weren't able to hang on to that. So clearly, Bakery, paying attention to what other teams have done, have found a possible route to success in limiting just how much Scream is able to do in these games.
Mordred and Fenrir locked in. Valo running back the Fenrir, which is no surprise. Leo picking up the Mordred, which is a humongous pick there. I really like that. Hunbat's going to Scream is awesome. Benekyu running back to Hekate. I think there was a lot of playmaking potential there. It wasn't super successful in the earlier parts of the game, but once we got to the team fighting phase, Benekyu really started to show up and show out. He's also wanted to go with what he's comfortable with. He's just now getting back into the groove of things, so makes sense to me. Cherry running the Anubis in solo, which is huge. Let's talk about this. So Anubis has incredible farming potential. He clears better than most other solo laners. Also, he's considered a relatively tanky god. Even though he's a mage for the most part, he also gets protections from his passive. So while he might be getting more lifesteal and looking to do more damage from that, he's also just harder to kill. The lower on health he is, the more protections he has.
I hate Anubis solo. That's my analysis for you. Don't
Great.
like it. Now, Cherry is a good enough player that he can pick whatever he wants, and I'm not going to say anything about it because he would mollywop me. But we did see it struggle the last time he played it, and sure, it did still win and did still have some value as the game went on. But we've seen how that immobile character can really struggle against high aggression, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe the last time we saw it, it was the Mordred in the lane against it. Granted, it was a Sasano in the jungle, now likely to be a Fenrir, taking that away from inbound. But other than that, Cherry Slush has kind of just run the same exact team back, only switched things out in the support role, where they take this Guan Yu instead of the Fenrir, which is no surprise. It's another character who likes to run at you, deal damage, has some good support potential with the heals, the CC he can put out, the slows, steals procs away, makes things a little bit easier for Cyclone Spin to deal with the tankier targets. But frankly, the way we saw Cyclone Spin play, he might not even be hitting targets that are not structures on the map to be taken down.
That's a fair point, and Apollo is really good for that sake, split pushing in and finding these little ins that might not always be the case. Okay, I've got all 4 members of my team, they're on the other side of the map, distracting around Fire Giant, doing that little song and dance around Gold Fury or whatever else. I'm going to go to a side lane. I'm going to push this up, and then once they show up, I'm going to head into my chariot. I'm going to ride on out. I'm going to park my car in the fountain, heal up, buy some items, and just continue that split push pressure that leads to objectives, leads to sieging, and leads to W's overall. That's how Cherry Slush found their W that we watched over just 2 games ago. Right when it looked down for Cherry Slush, 4 members pushed up on the right side, and they thought, well, it's only 4. They still have Apollo left somewhere. Apollo's in the air, dive bombing onto the Titan and ending the game. Let's see if the same thing unfolds here. We're in the finals. This is Cherry Slush versus the Bakery.
This is everything on the line now for both teams. They got to win it if they want to go home as victors. Be a quick pause here, no worries. We'll just wait for that. Gotta work itself out. We did get a chance to look at the drafts there, see where everyone was going. I don't think we saw anything too surprising there. I do believe we saw Apollo had taken the aspect as well in those prize. Cyclone did that last time he played it as well. It's more of the same. What I really want to see is where Valo and Scream start on the map. I really expect to see Valo try to make those same aggressive plays and try to get things rolling for his team early. Let's get back to the game and find out for ourselves here. And you can see he's already kind of looking around. It looks like he might be playing it safer this time around.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they're expecting Valo to jump in, and then they just want to group up and take him down together.
Oh, because Aurora's playing up. He's just taking a trip through the jungle, seeing what he can find.
Oh, no.
Doesn't really find anyone, but he will find a couple people on that route. He won't be in any real danger. No one's going to close the distance on him right there. This is just pure scouting for both teams. And while he does that, take a look. Valo takes the opportunity to make his way down and around and come over to this red buff where Scream maybe on a collision course, but Leo kind of drawing the eyes away.
Playing up hard. Scream maybe looking to invade. Scream doesn't have Sunder. Can't secure much without the slam, which is generally used for clear.
He's just going for a walk.
Leo's just chasing him down. Where is this going to go? Guan Yu playing up as well. Inbound, maybe looking for a secure. Sunder did go out. Not sure if he secured that objective. Scream, however...
Okay. So Scream is really just having his time wasted right now. He is going to go for the speed buff because you really have to. You have to do something to try to make your time worthwhile. But look at the other side. Cherry is just pushing up on that right side, getting as much XP as he wants because Leo is in the jungle. He's not going to be on level with Cherry over there. And he's not really doing a good job of killing Scream. Scream is just saying, hey, I'm going to take all the small minions and do whatever I can here.
Leo still... This is wild. Why? This is the chase of a lifetime. This is like those police chases that take way too long. Like, it's just wild. But finally showing up and finding first blood. Donut Doug going to secure it. Do you think that was a GA or something? Like, what was that?
I think this was a net benefit for Cherry Slush. Because Scream, sure, he's still level 1 against Valo's 3, but he was able to take small camps away, and he has burned so much time of Leo's as well. Scream can just run around his jungle and collect what farm he can get here, but it's going to be a lot tougher for Leo to play into Cherry at this deficit, because Cherry can just drop the damage down. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to get aggressive. Leo may still have the time to farm up, get some items online, and not really worry too much. But it does mean that the lane pressure is heavily in favor of Cherry right now.
Putting some focus on the duo side, I really like the Guan Yu pickup. I was a little questionable about it at first, but I like it for the simple fact that what supports do when there's time to on the map is you're able to just go to camps and clear them on your own. Not every support is able to do this. Yemoja can, Ymir can, and Guan Yu most certainly can. With the cleave on the basic and the third Talo Assault, you're able to just hammer away on camps and clear them quick. You're not spending all day just, trying to clear it by yourself so you can get some XP. You're able to clear through quick and then move on to the next thing just from base damage in Guan use Kit. So Inbound might be doing a little bit of aggressive play, which we already saw going to the purple buff. Meanwhile, while Leo and Scream were playing that little song and dance around their side of the map, Inbound was playing up and trying to steal the purple away from the duo side of the bakery.
Your eyes on the left side. Valo is level 5. He has ultimate way before Scream. He's lurking, looking for a gank on this left side. Don't be too surprised to see him pop the Ragnarok, try to go for something early here.
He does have it up. Here it goes. Is he going to get a pull? Beads follows up. Ragnarok doesn't get anything just yet, but you did pull the beads away from Cyclone. That's a dub in of itself.
It's a very early beads pull. It's a net win for Valo. He's happy with that. He knew going in that he was going to jump in, grab Cyclone, and he's not going to find a kill. He's only burning beads. What he has done is set up for his team. There's a lot of CC in this duo lane between Donut Dug on Agni and Aurora on the Ymir. Stuns can come through and get chained together very effectively. And if you can also drop the wall in front of them, it's really, really tough for Cyclone to get through that because he doesn't have an easy way through that wall. All he has is a dash and maybe an ultimate to try to take himself to the skies.
One thing that is very questionable here about Cyclone's choice is the aspect for Apollo getting picked up, and this is traditionally used as something that's a bit more supporty. You're losing a bit of base damage, and you're gaining benefits. I believe you gain a shield here. You're giving allies attack speed. You're getting shields and protections for your allies. There's a lot to love about the aspect, how it does in team fights, because you're granting your team overall more survivability, but you'll see less damage from Cyclone because of this. I mean, I'm assuming Cyclone's basically going to be sticking to his split pushing playstyle that we talked about earlier, so it's not a huge loss at all, but it's a big gain when you get into these team fights and you can just buff up their survivability.
Yeah, it does speak to maybe a bit more of an eye on team fighting with this Apollo, but I say that he didn't really do much team fighting last time we saw him and he had the aspect. It does just make things a little bit tankier and gives more utility to the team. And I think that's one thing we've been seeing a lot from the Hunters and their aspects specifically is what more value can we provide to the team other than just damage? Because let's be real, you're losing some attack speed. I'm going to be building that anyway. Hold on, Bakery just making a very early play for the Gold Fury. Ooh. Nicely secured with nothing paid towards them.
And that's what I'm talking about. It is so low on health. So when you have high DPS, like Fenrir Basics, especially with the 2, when you have Aurora using Frostbite, when you have Merlin, just in general, I mean, there's so much base damage on the map. With as low of health as Gold Fury has, it's an easy take. Scream finds a kill on Leo over in solo side, thanks to the help of Anubis, moving on over and grabbing that kill, the first for the game for Cherry Slush.
Cherry Slush is certainly doing a very good job staying in things. I mean, the Scream fight against Leo is just humorous at this point. He's like, you chased me through the entire jungle? Fine, we're the same level now. Let's 1v1 again. Surprise, Cherry is still around. Dumps a bunch of damage. Nice pickup there. It is notable that that Fury that was taken for the Bakery doesn't really put them ahead very much. The Gold Fury this early on is worth very little gold, very little XP, and quite often is more effort than it's worth to take it. It's good to get it for free like that, but all the Bakery has done is kept this game even. The lead is maybe a couple hundred in their favor, which split between 5 people means absolutely nothing. Cherry Slush is doing the Cherry Slush thing of quietly farming, let Scream get online, do what he wants to do, and they're gonna team fight afterwards. This is a team that doesn't care how the early game is going. They don't care how the mid game is going. They're playing for their team fights in the late game.
And that's where it all boils down. I mean, Cherry Slush does very well in team fights. We saw that in the last game we watched from them. Even though all these objective plays and everything else might not have been beautifully perfect and all, I mean, they started to come together after Inbound was able to secure away a Gold Fury. They got a Fire Giant from there, and the next thing you know, they just found some incredible split push pressure and were able to take down the couple bodies that came back for him. I mean, a lot of great communication on the side of Cherry Slush and as well as the Bakery. It's no surprise to see that these two teams made it so far because they both communicate so well. Look at Scream go, followed up by Guan Yu in the horrors inbound, picks up the kill, looking for another. Ymir looking for safety. Is he going to be able to find it? Open the gates, lands. Aurora's pulled, followed by the Hun Bat slam, and bada bing, bada boom, 2 kills on the board for Cherry Slush.
Well, those are the quick, explosive plays that Cherry Slush likes to make. Scream, kind of walking around, getting chased out, doesn't mind too much because he's always going to jump over to where his team is at. That's what Cherry Slush is good at, is grouping up together and staying together. Bakery, we saw them kind of do a lot of that in the previous game, but Cherry Slush are the ones trying to dictate the pace right now. You're trying to keep track of where Scream is at. Cherry over here on the right side has a pretty decent lead that's kind of making it more difficult for Leo to do the things he wants to do. And he's now on a character that is brawling a lot more. This Mordred doesn't like to just sit back, clear, and then go help somewhere else. He wants to fight in that lane, and he's not in a good position to do that. So they don't have the additional member on the side of Bakery to rotate out and help find them value in these fights. They have to constantly be worried about the Fear No Evil. Before the ultimate was dropped, we saw 2 members burn escapes to get away just on the chance that Scream decided to drop it on them. So he finds value just by simply threatening the ult without actually having to commit it.
Sitting at 9 minutes in here, 3 kills on the board for Cherry Slush and 1 for the Bakery. 1,000 gold lead, a little bit more than that for Cherry Slush as they've got kills. They might be down a Gold Fury, but the next one's coming up quick, and the Bakery are already surrounding it. But Inbound is where Inbound is here. He might not have Sunder online, but he's got everything else in kit.
And this Fury is going to be worth a lot more than that first one was. And so Cherry Slush makes sure they're going to be there, they're going to be present, and not allow that to go too easily over to the side of the Bakery. And you can see the respect that both teams have for each other there. Bakery knows that Cherry Slush is watching. Said, okay, we don't get another Sly one. Let's pull this one back. We're not taking our chances because there is a lot of damage. Sure, we just got Fear No Evil. It's back up already. If Scream decides to show up, things are looking pretty bad. This might be an opportunity, though, for a play to happen. Pursue the Weak is burned as an escape. Cherry shouldn't be able to catch up to him. So ult for ult. Means both teams now can take a look over at that Fury because the Fear No Evil's a lot bigger.
Very nice. Very, very nice escape from Leo here, but Death Gaze looking to take down some health. Valor around the corner, putting focus on Scream, trying to somersault out. Ragnarok follows, looking for the chomp, but Beats pulls out, looking for the kill on Leo. Leo's 100 health under tower. Scream's low as well. Mozball around the corner, looking for the pick. Oh, the magic shield might be helping, but it's not enough. Mozball takes him down. Cherry finds a kill on Valo. 1 body down on each side. Benny finds another. 2 bodies for Bakery are down, and Cherry Slush come out on top.
That's just the way things go. Mozball burns the beads to make sure he stays on top of Scream there, but it means he has nothing to get out when Benny Q drops the open the gates and pulls him to a terrible spot. Grasping Hands dropped on the only path out means he's just signed his death warrant, and Leo too low, trying to bait things around. It just feels like the Bakery is maybe trying to commit before they're ready to commit. You see Valo go in, jumps onto Scream, bites him, beads come out. Okay, great. You can walk away there, and all you've lost is your ult for his beads. Fair enough. Instead, they choose to try to commit to that fight, and they don't have a whole lot left. If you had not, if the beads hadn't been there, that works out a little bit better to commit to because you can take him out of position, but instead he stays by his team. Benny Q's able to rotate over, and the Bakery try to take more than they're ready to take. You have to get those beads down first before you go ahead and commit.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to make these commits so early. I mean, there's a lot on the line here. There's a lead to blow for Cherry Slush, and you need to make these plays for the Bakery, but do you want to risk the farm? Do you want to risk the camps, sitting there and going to waste? It's hard to make these plays, but Cherry Slush going to go to Fury and looking to siege this quick, but Aurora is on the case. Aurora lurking around the corner, maybe looking to use Shards of Ice to try and secure this. Sunder is down. Meanwhile, fight in the middle lane. Benny Q takes down Valo. and the fight erupts. Going in hard, Scream zoning off the rest of the team. Gold Fury is going to go to Cherry Slush with ease. Benny Q finds another kill on the backside, but loses his life in the process. Leo takes him down, and the fight unfolds. Eye of the Storm looking for some lockdown. Are we going to be able to find it? Scream uses the Fear No Evil to try and lock down Leo, but Leo's surviving greatly here, but he's still going to end up going to his grave regardless. Cyclone Spin puts him down. 3 bodies down, and the Bakery loses 3. Cherry Slush are healthy and wealthy here at the 13-minute mark.
Just not quite enough there in the tank for the Bakery to keep that fight going. Leo was trying, but it's still an early game Merlin that Moswell is piloting. Yes, he does have Spear of Death, so yes, he does have the Chronos Pendant, so those cooldowns aren't super long, but he's not going to be putting out a super high amount of damage, and the simple fact is the Cherry Slush were just more grooved. Taking Val out so early in that allowed them to just surge forward, and there's not a lot they can do. They're just going to run it back right here on the Pyromancer.
That's great. That's very good. Look at Aurora zoning very, very well. Found the Pyro as well. Pyro Bomb sitting in the pocket of Aurora. I love the aggressive playstyle that we're seeing from Aurora. He's able to just go and steal camps and zone people away. Just great stuff overall. He is getting melted down pretty quickly, though. Open the gates doesn't connect. Aurora's back to safety under the tier 1 tower, and he walks back up yet again.
That is the danger of the Ymir wall, right? Yeah, it does launch you forward, but if you're slowed, it's not going to be possible for you to just drop it at your feet and walk over it. The slow keeps you on the other side. Luckily, he's able to survive, but it comes at the cost of that Hexstone, so it's just one more tool that now he does not have available to him. And right now, the Bakery, they're struggling to find a way into these fights. They're still staying very close in the gold department. They're not falling super far behind that way. But these fights aren't really going their way, and it feels like it's mainly because they're so split up, and they haven't been able to find a good actual engagement. Valo has been trying, but he's starting to fall behind. He hasn't found the big engagements he's looking for so far. And without that, it is very difficult for him to find value.
Interesting ultimate there. Really wanting a piece of Cherry, but doesn't have the damage online just yet.
Yeah,
Eye of the Storm.
Damage.
Yeah, it's almost laughable because Anubis is going to heal that back, but a lot of damage is happening in duo side. Fear No Evil locking down Agni. Donut Doug with 100 health makes it back to the safety of the tier 2 tower, but Scream is still pressing up. Look at the teleport. Here comes help. Here comes the reinforcements. Mosball gets good damage out. Leo from the side as well. And the numbers game now starting to favor the Bakery. Low health. Good double freeze from Aurora. That's going to lock some bodies down. Are they going to be able to find a kill inbound? Getting good damage off. Cyclone just doesn't have it off to finish Aurora, who's going to make it to safety. But look at Leo. He's still suffering. They're not able to secure a single target. Mosball ends up falling, but a lot of split pressure from Cherry Slush. They're not focusing one single target, and it led to a couple bodies making it out, but Mosball falls in the process.
I think this goes back to something that you've not historically been a fan of, Mort. We need some anti-heal on the Bakery. The thing keeping these fights going is inbound, dropping those heals throughout everything. Now, Betty Q might be in a bad spot as Donut Doug has found him, puts him down to the ground, but he's caught out by Scream. 1-for-1 trade out there.
Eye for an eye. Valo might be evening the odds for Cherry Slush. Well, odding out the evens, I suppose. There's 1-for-1 so far, but Valo almost got caught out. It's fine. They're still going to lose the tier 1 tower. Cherry Slush playing hard. Oh, man, double freeze from Aurora. Is that going to let Valo go in? Looking for the Ragnarok, trying to pull him in, and not able to find anything just yet. Aurora still playing up. Not a whole lot of damage to follow for the Bakery, though.
Every single Ragnarok that we've seen Valo try to go for has just been beezed out. It's not finding the value. It's not finding the right targets. There's always an answer ready for it. And even if you are getting the damage off, I want to circle back to what we were saying beforehand. Inbound in these fights is putting so much work in by just keeping his team healthy. There's so much healing going on. You have to work through so much more extra health. And let's not even forget the fact that he strips Prots away, making it easier for the enemy to take you down. Go for You does get secured by Valo there. But make no mistake, it still keeps them at a deficit. It's only stopped Cherry Slush from pushing their lead further ahead. Inbound, not able to steal that one away.
That would have been amazing to see. Inbound gallop on in on the horse, Sunder, and then just horsey on out of there. That would have been classic inbound right there. That would have been the coolest thing I've seen all day, to see inbound pull that off. He got, cinematic, really. It would have came right out of one of those cowboy movies, but it didn't happen. It is what it is. These things happen. In exchange, they're going to secure that Pyromancer, which will certainly help when it comes to sieging later on in the game. We're 17 and a half minutes in, 10 kills on the board for Cherry Slush, and 4 for the Bakery. The gold lead is about 4K for Cherry. They're good. They're feeling very good, and they're running objectives for the most part. The Bakery has been sneaking some gold furies, but they're able to keep eyes on the Pyromancer, and I'm sure soon they're going to be looking at this Fire Giant.
Hopefully this latest pickup from Aurora will help them secure some of these kills. We talked a little bit about the magic damage that's on the side of the Bakery. Well, Benny Q on the Tecate brings up that magic damage shield and is part of the reason it's so difficult for the Bakery to work their way through these health bars. With the erosion picked up, those shields are going to be a little bit less effective. I believe it's about 30% reduced effectiveness now. That's a Fire Giant being looked at by Cherry Slush, taking no time to waste.
But the Bakery don't want to give it up for free.
Oh
Fear No Evil locks down Aurora. Circus might be getting him out of harm's way, but Hunbat's somersaulting over the wall. He's bringing Benny Q in. The Chariot is going to bring him into the action. Aurora's been taken down. Inbound secures a kill. One body down for the Bakery so far. Cherry Slush not letting off of the gas pedal. Scream is somersaulting out because Valo's got damage to follow up with. Maybe looking for a pick of their own. The Bakery trying to isolate Scream around the corner. Here comes Donut Doug. Couldn't find a pick, though. Ends up getting taken down by Benny Q. And now we're back to the song and dance around the Fire Giant. Scream looking for a pick, though. Valo follows up the somersault, followed by the leap. Fenrir is out of there, but Scream trying not to get picked off. A lot of low health bars for the side of Cherry Slush. Jumps everywhere, looking like a gymnastics display.
Wow.
Benny Q with a double. Massive memorize, followed by the 2. Benny Q got crazy damage off there. They're going to back things up. They don't have health for Fire Giant right now, but they emerge victorious with 3 extra kills in pocket.
Man, we saw Benny Q struggle in one game, and he is popping off in this one right now. So much damage. But I gotta shout out Scream, who's been just jumping over like 4 walls throughout that fight. So extended it was. Popped Pendulum Blade twice. It's crazy how mobile this Hunbots is right now. I think the big thing for the Bakery is that all of their fights feel so split up. You saw how disoriented they were. Donut Doug is looping in from under the Fire Giant while the rest of the team is fighting up by the Pyromancer pit. I don't know what we're doing there, but Aurora wants to make for a play.
Wait, look for Valo. Look for Valo on the side. Cherry finds a roar. Valo looking for a flank, but couldn't find it in. One body down for the Bakery. Maybe looking for a steal, but could not find it. All 5 members of Cherry Slush now lurking around the solo side, maybe looking for that tier 2. Ancient Fury's about to come up, though. Maybe they put some prio on that. Valo puts focus on the tier 1 tower in middle, looking to get something out of nothing. A little bit of gold in extra pocket is fine. Surrounding the tier 2 tower, sieging it down. Are they going to be looking for a Phoenix? Remember, this is how the last game ended for Cherry Slush that we saw, Spooky Mars. This could be ending sooner than we know. Now approaching the Phoenix. Are they sleeping on the push? The split push goes hard here. 5 members surrounding this Phoenix. All 5 members of the Bakery paying full attention to this siege. The Phoenix is about half health. They don't have a Pyro Bomb to secure this away with. Look at the jump. Here comes Valo looking for a siege, and he's going to try and get a bite out of Benny Q, but he's got the beats to follow up. Really looking to make something happen here, but great defense from the Bakery. They paid full attention to the siege on the side, and Cherry Slush having a hard time finding it in.
Yeah, the fact they didn't have any minions slowed that down very much. The Bakery able to hold on to that Phoenix. I don't think we'll see it go down quite yet here. More minions coming in, but there is a lot of wave clear for the Bakery. They might just walk in with the healing.
Oh no, Deathgaze going to make sure that he's able to take that tower away. Now they're going to be pushing in. They're going to be pushing hard. Daggers used, and Scream is back to full health. Ice Wall trying to block away basics, but Benny Q is going to make sure that the Phoenix falls. Looking for a kill on Leo. Very low health. Scream somersaulting in. The Chariot's out. Looking to try and dive on in. Vala finds a kill on Scream, though. One body down for Cherry Slush. Looking for another Ice Wall. Getting good damage out. Are they going to be able to find a pick? Cherry is down. Leo finds another. 2 bodies down for Cherry Slush. Looking for a third. The damage is going hard from Valo, but inbound finds a roar. One body down for the Bakery. Now Mazbal takes down BennyQ when the siege has been stopped. The defense is hard here, and inbounds all by his lonely by the Titan room. Where is he going to go? To his grave is where he goes. Deicide for the Bakery and a successful defense. You're still in the game.
Wow, that is a fight and a half. They got one guy out of that. There's only a roar. Bakery, hang on by the skin of their teeth. I was iffy on that Phoenix call. I didn't really know if I wanted to see Cherry Slush go for it. They were able to go ahead and grab it, but the fact that they go for that fight afterwards as well is just a little bit too much for my liking there. They didn't really have minions to help them tank that tower, so they were getting hit by the Phoenix. The ice wall in front of it stalled things out even more, so it was even more damage put out into them. And the Bakery are able to hang on, and really, I don't know how Leo and Valo survived the fights the way they did with only a roar falling. But Cherry Slush bit off a little bit more than they could chew, and it handed things back over to the Bakery. Sure, it's not a Fire Giant, but they do get that Ancient Fury, third one to their name as well. Cherry Slush need a little bit more discipline, a little bit more patience, I think, before they make that next call to end the game. Because there are 2 Tier 2 towers still up, Morty. Maybe we bring those down before we go for the Titan.
That's true. That's a very good point. I mean, I guess how they were looking at it is if we take down all 5 members of the Bakery, then there's nobody left to stop us from chipping away at that Titan. It might take a little bit of time, but if they found the kills, then it would be a lot easier. But they weren't able to find the kills. The Bakery playing very safe, very secure, in finding picks as they needed to. Scream fell, and then BennyQ, and then the rest followed. Cherry Slush just didn't have the in. They didn't have the engage necessary because Fear No Evil was used, Open the Gates was used. There was just no solid engage to get the fight started and really lock somebody down so that could go the way they wanted. But we're at 24 minutes in. Cherry Slush has 16 kills on the board, and the Bakery has 10, but the goal lead is it's there. It's not humongous, but it's there for Cherry Slush. Just a couple thousand, but the Bakery have 3 Gold Furies in pocket. With those coins up there, they're going to be able to siege those structures very, very easily. It means the end of days for Cherry Slush could be coming sooner than they think should they mess up in one fight.
They can siege a lot easier. They can defend a lot easier as well. Cherry Slush has to be very careful about how they approach these next fights. Fire Giant will be up here more, and I think that's the big one for Cherry Slush to look at. A lot of the reason they lost that fight can be dragged down to we were tanking Phoenix and we were burning way more resources than necessary because we were trying to get that Phoenix down. In a straight 5-on-5 fight, it looks a little bit better for Cherry Slush, but with the way that this whole fleet has shrunk down, it's still not bad for the Bakery. And so you have to be very careful about who starts up this Fire Giant, right? Because if Cherry Slush decides we want the Fire Giant, but the Bakery are hanging around, that Fire Giant damage can add up. Val takes the split push, takes down that tier 2. Fire Giant already half.
But they're going to drop it. The Bakery has shown up. The Bakery has arrived. Mordred looking for a Pursuit of the Week, but couldn't find an in. The Bakery looking to pick this Fire Giant up. They want to force this fight. The Bakery feel confident after how that defense went. Phoenix is showing up on the right side, solo side. Phoenix is up for the Bakery, and they feel confident there's not a lot of split push potential here. Look at Valo getting chased down by Anubis, dog-on-dog action. Not so sure how this is going to go down, but this lovely song and dance by the Fire Giant is erupting yet again. Both teams are just going to kind of back off. You're hard to force something here.
This is really good from Cherry, is making sure Valo doesn't get up to the rest of that team. The whole idea there was the Bakery was going to watch, wait for the Fire Giant to do some damage, and let Valo come in from the back and try to burst someone down. If they could pull some bees before Valo got there, that was going to be critical to their success. So being spotted out and drug away is huge. But actually, Valo is still messing around, trying to put some damage in the Cyclone. You can't really keep the Apollo away from the fight. He's just going to go across the skies and rejoin things. So it's very dangerous to be split pushing here, especially with Cherry now looking for you.
Wow, look at the damage from Cherry. He's got so much on board. The Void Stone and the Helm of Radiance just really allowing for some massive damage output. But the Bakery picking up Fire Giant, inbound, lurking in the shadows, having to get on the horse already. And that's his escape route. He is now down that escape. That's bad news for inbound. His stealing opportunity has gone down tremendously. They've got a sentry. They're denying vision from Cherry Slush. The Bakery really playing up for this Fire Giant. They don't care about the Ancient Fury right now. They want to make sure that Cherry Slush don't have a way to win this fight. So they're going to put focus on the Pyromancer, open the gates, looking to pull one. Can't pull anybody. Beads is used by Leo, and they're going to secure the Pyromancer. The Bakery backs off and realize they got a little bit more than they were hoping for there.
Yeah, it's a good trade for the Bakery, seeing that ultimate go down. My big concern right now is that Cherry Slush doesn't feel like they're utilizing their team composition the way they drafted to. Cyclone is on Apollo. There's no reason he needs to be up with the rest of the team, because sure, he did take the aspect, which is very good for team fighting, but he can get there anytime he wants. He can be on the left side, dragging that tier 2 tower down. It's on its last legs. A stiff breeze will send it crumbling to ash, but we're allowing it to stay up because Cherry Slush is focused on this Fire Giant, and you do have to have attention there. You can't just leave it alone. But when you have a team that'll, oh my god, that's disgusting. A team that allows you to just be on one side of the map and then immediately on the other, you have to leverage that. Otherwise, the Bakery just kind of get to sit around, scale up, and play their game.
Medicu's playing a smart game right now. He's poking away and trying to get resources away from the Bakery for when this fight erupts. He just took away Circus Hex Zone from Aurora. That's huge. That is massive. That is a big in that the Bakery no longer have, and that's just because of poke. All Medicu is doing is just using abilities that have a low cooldown anyway. Here comes Cherry with an ultimate. Couldn't find a pick there. Taking a lot of health out of Valo, who's going to have to back things up. And maybe we'll try it again in a little bit once we get a little more health in pocket. The rest of the members of the Bakery are around this Fire Giant yet again. Aurora a little low on health. Is he going to get picked off here? He's very low on health. Shards of Ice is going to get a bit of damage off before he falls, but he falls nonetheless. One body down for the Bakery. Valo still looking to show up here. Inbound takes down Leo. Two bodies down for the Bakery, looking for a third, but nothing here just yet. All the rest of the Bakery are surrounding the fire as 5 members of Cherry Slush are sieging this thing down. 8k health, going down to 7k. It's burning slowly but surely, but Valo's in the backside looking for a potential pick. Maybe Benihue gets taken out here. Cherry putting focus on Valo. They're looking around the corner, and big damage goes on to the head top of Valo. And here comes a Chariot, putting focus on Valo. Make sure that he hits the grave. This is your final chance. Cyclone takes him down. 3 bodies down for the Bakery. And back to the song and dance around the Fire Giant. Donut Doug gets taken out by Cherry, grasping hands, pulling him to his grave. Scream secures the fire, and Cherry Slush are up.
Wow, it's a long and extended fight, and it comes just from Aurora stepping too far forward. Double Mez is extremely powerful from your backline. So much damage was put out extremely quickly, and now the Bakery find themselves on the back foot. Leo does respawn, but there's 40 seconds before Donut Doug is up. 30 before Valo can rejoin this defense. And Cherry Slush, they want to slide their way into a victory. Move on forward. Scream leading the way.
Scream is about to have Fear No Evil online. He's also got Dagger ready. Open the gates used by Benihue, but couldn't pull anybody. Good damage from Cherry. Takes down Aurora. 2 bodies left to defend from the Bakery. Scream takes down Leo. It's nobody but a lonely Moswall left to defend this Titan, and they're going for it. Valo's up in 5. Donut Doug's up in 10, but it might take even less time to melt down this Titan. Cherry Slush going at it, and they're going hard, and they're going to focus it down real quick. The number 1 team right here, Cherry Slush, finds the W.
Tier 2 towers, who needs to take those down? We just play around the Fire Giant until we find ourselves a pick. It was a long and extended dance, but eventually it pays off for Cherry Slush. And so congratulations to them and well played. I will save my talking points about that extended fight for a later time where they don't win off of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy to see how a lot of people put focus on, oh, we got to go get those tier 2s. We got to get the Phoenixes down on the other side. That way the Titan's easier to kill. You tell that to the members of Cherry Slush, and they're like, nah. No, like we don't need to do that. We just kill the people that are in the way of the Titan, and then we take the Titan. That has been their strategy going forward. We saw it in the earlier set we watched with Cherry Slush. We saw it just now when they're up against the Bakery, and they're taking dubs like this. I mean, they're just wiping bodies off the floor, and their composition is just incredible. The way that these teams communicate, the way that these teams pull resources and then fight from there, it's just incredible.
Yeah. Man, we have to watch this again. That's First Blood, so I guess we have to watch Leo chase Scream around the jungle. I really like the idea that they had there, right? You just want to keep tabs on him, make sure he doesn't get ahead. But in the very next clip, you see how little it does for you. Scream still had massive control over this game, was really able to rotate anywhere he wanted. Whereas Valo, he was trying consistently to be a pace setter. He's trying to find value, but every single time he tried to go in, the Ragnarok was answered, and he very frequently found himself just watching beads get pulled, and nothing was able to be found of value.
Wow. Look at the damage from Benny Q. He's back. It took him a little bit of time to get back into a comfort zone, but Benny Q is back. The damage from this guy was just awesome. I mean, he was really just putting out damage numbers left and right, and it was deleting members of the bakery one after another.
And deleting members of the bakery, and then you got inbound on your side as well, keeping you topped up, so Benny Q's able to shield people, get healed, and he has so much room to play with. And right here you see a big fight that came out, and this is where Scream just keeps jumping all over the place. He absolutely ran this fight, jumps here, jumps over there, and the bakery tries to put him down. This is the same fight, by the way, and they're unable to lock this Hoonbots down, and it just gives so much space to his team. Benny finds a massive double kill, and while it doesn't win them the game, it puts them in a position where the bakery are on the back foot, unable to find a whole lot of value, and Cherry Slush just did such a good job of dictating the pace and the flow until this fight.
Oh, man. Cherry Slush just trying to find these little ends, and it didn't work the first time around. It's all right. You know, things kind of fell apart for their siege plans here, but they still came back around in the end. The bakery showing a little bit of life here. Donut Doug and Valo doing what they can to get good damage off. Leo living through a whole lot to make sure that the team is right. But Cyclone finds the pick on Aurora, who dove in a little bit too deep, and the rest is history.
And this has been the bakery's problem throughout the game. I want you to note how far Valo was from that fight. He was coming to that fight from base. The bakery is very good at playing together, but there are times where they look disjointed, and when they aren't on the same page, things crumble very quickly. If you step too far forward, you can be punished extremely hard, and that's pretty much exactly what happened here. Fight starts at Fire Giant, and it really doesn't stop until Cherry Slush push down that Phoenix and go for the game end.
Wow, I mean, incredible stuff here. Love to see that from Cherry Slush. Really showing what these brackets are going to be like going forward into Smite Prime. I mean, we saw a couple of not as competitive games in the earlier parts, but once we got the real big dogs in, I mean, it has been like this game after game after game, just real competitive, very big on siege, very big on objective play, and it's been great. But to see Cherry Slush emerge on top and Benny Q back where he belongs at the top of the totem pole, it is awesome to see.
I'm extremely interested to see how much healing Inbound has through this game, because it felt so impactful. I wish we had like a shielding stat as well, so we could see what Benny Q was doing. Look at that, 17,000 player healing.
It's huge.
17,600. That's more healing than Valo had damage. That's almost as much healing as Leo had damage. That's how much he was invalidating throughout those fights, and that's why you kept seeing these long fights that started like they were looking for the bakery. But then it kept going and it kept going, and you're seeing one team's health bar drop and the other doesn't seem to be moving very much. That's all Inbound.
You know what I'm thinking about too is that not only do you get heals from Conviction, which is Guan Yu's 1, you also get to lower the cooldowns of your allies. Cherry is an ability-based, or Anubis is an ability-based god. So is Hoonbats. So is Akatse. Apollo needs to keep firing about abilities to make sure that the aspect is useful. So you can provide those shields, heals, and protections that Apollo aspect is known for. So you're giving the whole team so much value just by lowering their cooldowns with Conviction. And you're healing them in the process. I really slept on how valuable Guan Yu is to this team comp, but I see the vision now that it's before my eyes.
This was just a beautiful draft coming out from Cherry Slush, and it was executed even better. They knew what they wanted to do going into things, they execute on the game plan, and that's how you get to the wins. Benny Q shows up big, inbound just says, nobody dies on my watch. Like, how do you argue with that? You can't. Bakery tried their best. They've made some really good plays. I liked the early goal Fury. It just was not enough to push them far enough ahead to keep up with the farming that Scream is so proficient at. The macro play from Cherry Slush is the one thing that I think every team needs to really aspire to be able to match and beat, because that's how you're going to get past this team.
Well, it's been a blast to be here, everybody in the Smite game and Smite Prime audience. It has been an absolute blast to see these games go down. Spooky Mars, any final words before we get out of here?
6 inches of snow is a lot. Don't let Mort lie to you.
All right. Great final thoughts. And that, with that being said, we are out of here. I want to say a quick thank you to everybody. Thank you to Red, Rosie Panda, and Testai for doing production for us. Thank you to General Jithens and basically Billy for setting this whole thing up. Thank you to Spooky Mars for joining me here in the booth. And most importantly, I want to thank you, all the viewers in the chat, for making this possible. What is a show without an audience? And we are so, so thankful for you to join us for this plethora of wonderful games. That being said, this has been Morty on the mic with Smite Prime. We're going to be taking off, but we see you back next Saturday at noon Eastern right here on Smite Game.